due to an injury, you need to call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation and get your life and mobility back. You know, I've been to one of their clinics. I met a few of their customers. They were smiling from ear to ear, so happy to have their mobility back, pain-free, without surgery. They have locations all across the Chicagoland area, including new locations in Crystal Lake and Gurnee. Call for a free consultation, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Recent events have reminded us how fragile the stock market and your life savings can be. What would happen to you if you lost 30, 40, 50% or more in the market? It could likely destroy your quality of life and impact your plans for the future. Let this be a wake-up call to sit down and review your financial situation. Take control of your future today and call Wealth Management Group 833-WMG-PLAN or visit investwithwmg.com. All investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you'll destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with Rick Hughes this Sunday morning at 7. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Listen this Sunday for inspiration, motivation, education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes this Sunday morning at 7 on AM 560. The Answer. From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel. Home to the biggest shows on TV, like Dennis Prager weekdays at noon Eastern, followed by Jay and Jordan Sekulow at 2. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free now on Xumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Xumo.
I'm Shalom Klein. Join me each week for the Get Down to Business radio show. This show is packed with ideas that will inspire as you search for best practices to grow your business. Whether you are an experienced entrepreneur or just learning the ropes, Get Down to Business will tackle the issues affecting your everyday work life.
Get Down to Business is covered by Tom Mirabali, independent producer for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois.
Listen each week to Get Down to Business with me, Shalom Klein. Heard Sunday afternoons at 6 right here on AM 560.
Can you read this email for me?
Of course. Jeez, I wish they could do something for your eyesight.
Me too. But you heard what they said. There's nothing we can do.
When vision loss can't be corrected with glasses or surgery, and hope seems lost, turn to Spectrios Institute for Low Vision. Spectrios doctors specialize in the treatment of vision loss related to eye diseases, such as macular degeneration, glaucoma, and diabetic retinopathy. There is hope, supported by science with personalized rehabilitation plans, occupational therapies, and access technology at Spectrios. Talk to a patient service manager. They'll walk you through the program. Spectrios takes BCBS and Medicare insurance. They also have grants for qualifying patients and offer a Seeing is Believing children's outreach program. Go to spectrios.org, located in Wheaton in a building that says it all, the House of Hope. That's spectrios.org. Spectrios Institute, the head, heart, and eyes approach to better vision. Remember to keep Spectrios Institute, a 501c, in your estate or legacy planning.
Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, a family-owned restaurant, a Chicago family favorite for over 40 years. Why? Because they're known for sub sandwiches the size of your forearm. No joke. Their 6-inch sub has more meat and cheese in it than any foot-long in an Irish neighborhood. These sandwiches are iconic, famous for their homemade Italian beef, meatballs, burgers, and, of course, delicious Italian subs loaded with mortadella, cabagol, salami, provolone, and their own secret sauce called Love Potion No. 9. This vinegar and oil dressing is famous on its own. Both Augustino's locations boast walls covered in authentic rock and roll memorabilia and artifacts, all celebrating their love for good old-fashioned rock and roll. Augie's is a feast for your eyes and your stomach. Dine in or carry out. Bring the family or the team. Plus, Augie's caters corporate meetings, parties, and celebrations. Don't make it yourself. Make it happen with Augustino's. Go to Augustinos.com for locations and menus. That's Augustinos.com.
For over 10 years, the award-winning KWCC Construction has been building a better future locally and throughout the Midwest, constructing with detailed planning and execution, completing projects safely, timely, and with transparency. If you've ever visited the Wilder Park Promenade along the Riverwalk in Aurora or driven past the recently revitalized Copley Hospital, you're looking at the quality construction of KWCC. Maybe you've seen the adaptive reuse of 80 South River Street in downtown Aurora, which now includes residences and businesses that have revitalized the area. No matter the project, KWCC Construction offers services from indoors to outdoors, conception to completion. In fact, KWCC was recognized as 2022's best project in landscape and urban development. Highly recommended. A general contracting company you can count on. That's KWCC. To request a proposal for your project, visit kwccinc.com. That's kwccinc.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning to you, Chicago listeners. Dan and Amy are not here today. I'm John Anthony, host of Black and White Radio, heard every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. Alongside my trusted sidekick today, we having a Chicago Morning Answer takeover. Former ABC 7 reporter Charles Thomas. Charles, thanks so much for coming in with me.
Hey, man, it's really a pleasure to be here. And really, I'm excited about all the things we have to talk about this morning.
I mean, there's just so much that has transpired. And Charles, I believe this is the 9th day out of 13 or 10th day out of 13 days that I've been on the radio.
Really?
Yes. I mean,
Man.
It started way back Wednesday and Thursday of a week and a half ago. I filled in with Amy, and then I did the RNC and election coverage. I did my radio show, and now I've been here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, filling in with Amy, and now you and I have taken over the airwaves.
How'd you come up with enough material to fill all that?
Well, guess what? Stuff happens really quickly. Stuff has been happening really quickly in the world. I mean, we went from an assassination attempt to a presidential candidate and president currently dropping out of the race. I mean, where were you when you heard that Joe Biden was dropping out of the race, Charles?
I was in another state, and I was on my back porch enjoying a cigar.
Yeah.
And suddenly my wife walks into the room and says, "Have you heard?" I said, "What?"
Yeah.
And now this is the assassination attempt.
Yeah.
And I rushed, and I didn't know. I just heard he had been shot.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what his condition was at that point. So I rushed to the television, and I found we heard the story, and I immediately saw the iconic photo.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple iconic photos.
A couple, but that one with the flag in the back, that one, I said to my wife, "It's over." I said at that point, "It's over." And now, I may have been reacting to the photograph only and emotionally, but my brain said, "It's over."
Yeah. And I think the Democrat Party knew then when that assassination attempt happened, I think the Democrat Party knew then that it was over.
Yeah.
And so they had to tell the rest of the world, "Hey, hold on, hold my beer. We're getting ready to one-up them."
Well, the Dems, at that point, I think they were in the 24 hours after that, when that photo began to spread and the news began to spread about the assassination attempt.
Yeah.
The Democrat Party at that point was in total political check.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew, and to get out of checkmate, to avoid checkmate, they would have to, they had no way out. There was no plan to get out of that hole. And I think that's what we've seen, this whole Kamala business, I think, is what they determined is their best way, their best attempt to get out of it.
Yeah. And Charles, you were telling me a story. Now, think about this. You were telling me a story about what some of your friends were telling you about. Think about your friends. I mean, I'm wondering if they said anything about this.
Well,
they were one of the 14 million that voted for Joe Biden, and that vote meant means absolutely nothing right now because of how the process is playing out and how they're replacing Joe Biden with Kamala Harris.
And that's a conversation about their talking point about democracy and such, and I'm sure we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
But I did have people calling me. I mean, I know a lot of people on both sides of the fence because I was a reporter, and I had to have relationships on both sides of the fence. But a lot of my black Democrat friends, they know where I'm coming from, but they would call me and say, "Hey, man, is something you can do? Maybe you get your church involved, get other people you know involved to raise money for Kamala." And I said, "Well, why?"
Right.
And they, well, you know, she's a black woman and she's running for. Whoa. Wait a minute. Didn't we go through this once in 2008 and we saw how that turned out? I mean,
what did that produce? Did that produce
what
anything?
did that produce? Exactly. And don't we have to think about this for a minute? But no, I had about three people actually call me to say we got to get the band back together to elect Kamala Harris. And as I made other phone calls to people who are political operatives in the Democrat Party, they were telling me that Kamala has the best path to victory of any of the Democrats they could think of.
Did they illuminate or show you how?
They told me how. Kamala has to get the black vote out the way Barack got the black vote out in 2008.
Okay.
And she has to get the woman vote out the way Joe Biden got it out. I'm talking about the suburban women, white women.
Right.
She has to get them out the way Joe Biden got them out in 2020. And I'm saying, whoa, well, that's a tall order, particularly when I believe when it comes to the black vote. We'll see what happens when it comes to the women vote. That's going to be a function, I believe, the campaign and how much the Democrats stress the abortion issue.
Right.
But that's her only path to victory at this point.
Right.
And that's what they're counting on, and that's why they chose her, because that is the playbook that works. But the bottom line here, I think for them, means that Kamala, by getting the black vote and the women vote out, can save the House of Representatives.
Oh, my goodness.
For the Democrats. They are worried about down ballot.
Right.
That's their biggest concern right now. I don't believe they're convinced that she would be a better candidate than one of their more moderate governors. But they do know, they believe that if they get that black vote out, particularly in places like Philadelphia and Detroit, they can make a run of this in Pennsylvania and in Michigan.
Well, I don't know if you heard her first rally on yesterday.
I did.
Kamala says she has enough of the support. Here she is.
So, Wisconsin, I am told as of this morning that we have earned the support of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination.
So what happens if somebody files? Because you only need 300 delegates to come around to you to say, okay, we want you to challenge Kamala at the in an open convention at the DNC. What happens then?
You'll get a lot of news coverage about that, but I don't think it means anything because it's only 300.
Yeah.
And the overwhelming majority of Democrats have accepted this backroom deal, not only to get rid of Joe Biden, but to elevate Kamala, that they're powerless really to do anything about it. And that's so ironic because this is the party that says Donald Trump is going to destroy democracy when they are actively destroying democracy.
And have been for the last 3 years,
Absolutely.
right? With all of the lawfare and things of that nature, right? Yeah. Well, I think this is how they're going to frame it out. They're going to frame it out. And you see it, and Kamala basically said it in her speech yesterday. They're going to frame this out as the prosecutor against the felon.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming after the felon I think they're going to try to make that case. And Kamala did some of it in some of her speech.
As Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that was scamming students. Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students. As a prosecutor, I specialized in cases involving sexual abuse. Well, Trump was found liable for committing sexual abuse. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big Wall Street banks and held them accountable for fraud. Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud on 34 counts.
She's making the case, right?
She's making the case, but keep in mind that she's making it. This is sort of like your first time on offense.
Yeah,
and she's got some defense she's got to play, and we'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, I think she has a lot of defense. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. That's 312-642-5600. I'm John Anthony. He's Charles Thomas. We're filling in for Dan and Amy. Yeah, we're not Dan and Amy, but we're going to do our best not to break the show today, Charles. I would hope you would help and assist me in not breaking this show today, Charles. Is that a deal?
Breaking it?
It's now 5:30 on AM 560 Answer, WIND Chicago. Now on to Mike Scott in the newsroom.
It's 5:30 on AM 560 The Answer. President Biden is expected to address the nation in a primetime address today from the Oval Office, his first on-camera appearance since he dropped out of the 2024 presidential race. Donald Trump says he'll debate Vice President Kamala Harris, as she is now the presumptive Democrat nominee for president. Trump telling reporters he'd be willing to debate Harris multiple times. Harris was in Wisconsin for her first campaign rally since launching her presidential bid. And while speaking in Milwaukee, Harris went on the attack against Donald Trump.
California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that was scamming students. Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students.
Her campaign currently is vetting potential running mates, most of which are from states Democrats need to win to try to defeat Donald Trump in November. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle resigned after she testified before Congress on former President Donald Trump's security detail at a Pennsylvania rally where a shooter, attempted to take his life. Now the agency has told the former president to keep rallies inside. Last night on Fox, California Congressman Ro Khanna said the director thought she might be able to keep her job.
I do think she should have been asked to resign or fired. It took a congressional hearing to get to that point. I think when I asked her a question about, do you realize that the Secret Service head, after President Reagan was shot, that he retired afterwards and was asked to leave, she was surprised.
President Joe Biden announced he will choose a new director. An estimated 200 were arrested at a pro-Palestinian protest in a congressional building on Capitol Hill. The arrest at the Cannon House office building came one day before Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is scheduled to address Congress. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik declared she and her party will continue to back Israel.
House Republicans will always stand with Israel and will not rest until every hostage kidnapped during the horrific October 7th Hamas terrorist attacks is returned home.
Vice President Kamala Harris is drawing some major criticism for not being in attendance for that address. A line of fast and furious thunderstorms left downed trees and power outages in the wake of that storm. Tuesday evening, the north suburbs saw the brunt of that damage, Morton Grove and Glenview. Authorities are investigating a shootout involving an off-duty Chicago police officer on the far south side. Alderman Matt O'Shea of the 19th Ward.
I believe it was an exchange of gunfire between the off-duty police officer and one or possibly more offenders.
The suspects fled in a dark-colored car, but one of them was arrested near the scene. No injuries reported. Authorities in DuPage County are investigating a deadly shooting that took place in unincorporated Lombard Monday night, where the victim's son said he heard the deadly shooting while he was on the phone with his father.
I was on the phone with him yesterday, and I thought it was firecrackers. I went outside to check on him, and I saw that, and I just told my mom stay inside, and I called the police.
The sheriff's office is calling the death of 38-year-old Ala Namat a homicide and investigating that death as a murder. Wisconsin vacationers, take note. Public health managers in Madison are warning about an outbreak of the whooping cough. Public Health Madison and Dane County near the Capitol issuing that warning yesterday, saying there have been 43 cases of whooping cough over the past 2 months. Now, most of those cases are among teenagers, and that's not typically who suffers from whooping cough. No one is saying where the cough came from, how the teens got it, or if the cases are connected. Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 1-0. White Sox fell to the Rangers 3-2. The news, a service of Dan and Amy 24/7, around the clock, all day, every day. Listen now, Dan and Amy, 247.com. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says times have changed.
People don't trust the election. People don't trust the ballot counters. People don't trust the process. And I kind of think it's my job to point out that we have got procedures in place that are far different from 2020.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Come on with this, people. Move it!
Did you really think you could make that company deliver yourself?
Oh, I cannot handle any more traffic.
You could be getting much more done at your place of business.
I've wasted 45 minutes and now this place is gonna close.
Time is money. Let Quick Delivery Service take on the traffic hassle for you. They'll deliver almost anything, from large pallets of materials to important documents, or both. No forms, no labels, no scanning. Just tell Quick Delivery Service where it's going, they'll pick it up, and get it to your destination quickly. Your cargo delivery is tracked in real time with GPS. Notifications are delivered right to your inbox. Visit QuickDelivery.com. That's QuickDelivery.com. Or you can deliver like this.
Seriously, another train?
Or get your delivery there on time with QuickDelivery.com. Or call 847-534-2244. 847-534-2244.
Experience a luxurious summer when you visit Trump International Hotel and Towers, Chicago, a Forbes Travel Guide 5-star hotel. Take in stunning views of the Chicago skyline from the heart of the city, steps away from the iconic Magnificent Mile and the revitalized Riverwalk. Treat yourself to exquisite dining at Terra 16 Restaurant and Rebar Lounge, overlooking the Chicago River and Lake Michigan. Catch the Navy Pier fireworks display from Terra 16's patio on Wednesdays and Saturdays all summer long. Relax in immaculately designed suites that offer the utmost level of comfort. Refresh in the state-of-the-art spa featuring a 75-foot swimming pool, steam and sauna rooms, relaxation lounge, and more. The Trump Hotel Chicago offers sophistication and elegance to downtown Chicago and is a convenient travel destination for your summer getaway. Simply visit Trump Chicago online to make your reservations today and search offers to find the never settle summer stay. Book today.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
5:38. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Elmhurst disabled vehicle with a shoulder block, North Avenue and Route 83. Bishop Ford jamming up inbound 115th into the Dan Ryan. I-55 southbounders, you're on the brakes. Blodgett to North River Drive. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Shower this morning, otherwise clouds and sun throughout the day. High 76. Clear to partly cloudy and nice overnight. Low 63. 69 at O'Hare, 68 at Midway, 66 in Aurora, 65 in Kankakee, 68 Lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony, filling in for Dan and Amy alongside my trusted partner and sidekick, Charles Thomas, former ABC 7 reporter, and now just chilling and relaxing and enjoying retirement, Charles.
Well, I'm enjoying it, but man, I tell you, these days you're glued to the news reporting.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm envisioning what I would do in this situation, how I would report this story or that story, and man.
How would you go about? How did you go about putting together stories? Because one thing I know I've always watched you. You were always fair. You would always ask the tough questions as well.
Well, I think the more important thing is to be fair.
Yeah.
And you know, there's this question. You know, some people say that reporters should be objective. Well, objectivity, you have to find what is objectivity. So you have to be fair. And I think that you do your homework and you find out where you can find counterbalancing opinions.
Yeah.
And views, and you focus on those too, because no reporter can do every view.
Right.
I mean, that just can't happen. It's not enough time. But you can be balanced. What you put on the air, you have to put a counterbalance on the air.
Well, with that said, Joe Biden is supposed to give an address to the nation, I believe later today. What's some of the questions that in your mind, that he needs to answer and answer completely?
Well, I think he needs to answer the question of who did he hear from to make his decision not to run, and why does he think he's capable of conducting the business of the U.S. government for these next 6 months? I mean, that's critical. I mean, if you don't have the energy to run, why should you continue?
Right.
In fact, I put this down in my notes. I mean, I think Kamala Harris will be president of the United States sometime between now and possibly Election Day, certainly before January 21st of
That's the cleanest thing to do, right?
Pardon?
That's the cleanest thing to do. If I'm the Democrats, Biden is stepping down and Kamala's being inserted.
Right. And if she should somehow, some miracle, win the election, they got to deal with Biden immediately with the 25th Amendment.
Yeah.
He's got to go. I mean, because the guy is a threat to our national security, given the fact that he could not handle a major international incident, particularly when you have American either military equipment or military personnel involved in these 3 hot wars that are going on right now in the Middle East, Ukraine, and Yemen.
I mean, think about this, though, Charles. He comes out and say he has COVID. We don't hear from him for, 5, 6 days? He finally makes an appearance yesterday I don't know where he was going. I think he was getting on Air Force Two.
He was getting off the plane from
Delaware,
from the retreat.
Yeah,
and coming back to the White House.
Yeah, but it's I mean, the way he did this, the way he came out announcing that he's no longer running on X on social media. I get we're in a new age and everything, but who does that, Charles?
Well,
and why is it acceptable?
It's not acceptable. I mean, it's acceptable to those Democrats who are trying to justify all this. But the fact of the matter is, it is not acceptable. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican.
Right.
That decision deserved a live announcement.
Right.
It absolutely did. I mean, this is the President of the United States. He is supposed to go before the American people and explain himself as he does it, before he does it, not 5 days after the fact.
Right.
What is this?
And you look at you look at that assassination attempt. Trump gets assassinated. I believe Biden stays in the race. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if Trump gets assassinated, it is full-bore civil war in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
There would not have been enough time to process it for the American people. This place would have gone up. I mean, I'm sorry. That guy came within a centimeter of destroying what we have known as this republic for the last 250 years.
Yeah.
This would have changed everything forever.
Right.
There would be no trust whatsoever for this government.
Right. And when you look at how Kamala is going to run this race, one thing we know for sure, abortion and reproductive rights, as they call them, will always be front and center. This is another part of the speech from Kamala Harris's first rally yesterday.
And we who believe in reproductive freedom will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because we trust women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
This woman, now you and I both know, I don't know if you know this, rather, during the RNC convention, the Republican platform was changed. In it, they put the in vitro. They put Trump says he doesn't want a national ban on abortion. So Charles, enlighten me, help me understand what's the radicalization of Trump's position on abortion when he believes it should be the states who determine how they approach abortion. Tell me, I mean, if there's no national, Trump's not pushing a national ban, what's radicalized about his position?
Nothing. Nothing's radical about his position. They are lying to motivate, again, women voters. And they're using Kamala's brown skin to motivate black voters because this is their only pathway to victory. Kamala is on offense yesterday, understand.
Yeah.
But she hasn't had to play defense, and that's where her problems are going to come up. You know, any political consultant, John, will tell you that the worst thing that can happen to a candidate in a race is when that candidate has to play him or herself in the opponent's attack ad.
Right.
Get it?
Yeah.
This woman has a wealth. I mean, she's overflowing with targets. She's a target-rich environment. Everything she said during the 2020 riots.
Yeah.
Those comments.
Yeah.
The fact that she was bailing out people who were committing arson and other crimes. The fact that she has made other statements putting her to the far left.
Of Joe Biden.
Of Joe Biden, of
Bernie
really,
Sanders.
of Donald Trump, of everybody. She is the extremist here.
Well, since you mentioned her brown skin, breaking news, Black Lives Matter. They came out with a press release on yesterday, and they basically said, while Joe Biden wasn't our preferred candidate, we cannot ignore the troubling actions of the Democrat Party. The DNC refused to host debates during the primary, even though a vast majority of Democrat voters wanted them. This would have likely allowed America to see the decline of Joe Biden in 2023. The DNC changed the primary schedule. Following the primary where billions of black voters weighed in, after one poor debate performance, the DNC party elites and billionaire donors bullied Joe Biden out of the race. And they go on and on and on. Not everybody's happy with this pick, Charles, especially black men. I don't know if you've been watching social media, but there's so many people coming out saying, yeah, we're not with her. Kamala's not one of us. You know, they not like us. You see some of the memes coming out saying that she not like us. Does that will Kamala get 90% of the black vote?
Oh, of course not. I don't think so. Not at this point. I think if she can do 80, that would be a victory for her. But keep in mind that, can you imagine the Trump attack ads? This is without Donald Trump saying a word in them. Can you imagine the cackling, the word salads? Then the stories about how she came up in the game. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
There are photos of her being Willie Brown's, who is the former California Speaker of the House and the mayor of San Francisco, of her in the mid-1990s being Willie Brown's side piece. Huh?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine what's going to go on?
She went there first, though. She went straight to the mud in attacking Trump about the Jean Carroll case.
Yeah.
Don't throw stones if you live in a glass house.
I lived in Oakland in the late 70s, in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And San Francisco. And the fact that you're a side piece in San Francisco, which is an anti-family city, it was an anti-family back then as well, that was no big deal. In California, that plays. But how does that play in Wisconsin?
Right.
In rural Michigan, in rural Pennsylvania.
Georgia.
Side piece. And they got pictures of the two together with her leaning on his chest, on Willie's chest, and all that. I mean, that's not going to play. And this is the stuff she's going to have to defend. Now, I don't think Trump.
Trump should do
won't
that.
go after her on that.
That will be a dumb
thing.
thing.
The internet will go after her on that, and they'll constantly. In fact, they're already doing it.
Yeah,
they're already doing it. So she's got to deal with that in some way, and it's going to be very difficult. That's just one aspect of it.
Yeah.
But the bigger problem, her moments that have been captured on video since she's been the vice president. It's going to be very difficult,
especially what has become unburdened by whatever the unburdens
burdened by your past,
goodness.
And she is going to be burdened by her past, recent and distant, during the campaign. I mean, I think I can't get caught up in what happened yesterday in West Dallas, Wisconsin. No, I can't. I got to look at a bigger picture here. I want to see what's going on 2-3 weeks from now. And I also want to see her actually with those balloons falling at the United Center when she is officially the nominee, because that's not over yet.
That's not over. They're just courting her right now.
Right.
In the next hour, I got a document from the Federalist, and they lay out 30 reasons why Kamala Harris is the worst person to become president of the United States of America. We're going to go through, we may not go through all 30, but there are some key ones that I want to go to. Let's go to the phone lines. Bob from Buffalo Grove, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, John and Charles.
Good morning.
Great to hear you guys paired together.
Thank you.
It ain't over with the selection of Kamala. I'm just wondering how the fake news
Bob, you there? Looks like we lost Bob. Bob, call back. Let's go to Dan from Lake Zurich. Dan, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I just want to ask if it's true that there's approximately 9 states and 130 electoral votes that Biden cannot be removed from where he is the candidate, so it kind of messes up their whole plan.
Yeah, I believe that's one of the reasons why they did this rush. I do believe, because she's on the ballot, I do believe she can replace Biden. I know somewhere in like Delaware, you have 17 days up before the general election to be replaced on the ballot. Pennsylvania, you have 60 days before you can be replace. New Jersey, 54 days. So I believe Kansas, I think they were saying, Georgia and a couple other states. But I don't think that'll stop them from nominating her as the presidential choice. Dan, I don't think so.
The fix is
Thanks,
in.
Dan.
The fix is in. It's been in for several weeks, and they know what they're doing, and they're prepared to go to court to resist any challenge.
Of course. Let's go back to Brian from St. John. Brian, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
This question's more for Charles, I think. But does Kamala still hold the stance of a national gun buyback?
Ooh.
And if she does, how would she go about trying to enforce that and get it through Congress and all that stuff?
Well,
Great question.
I'm not familiar
Thanks,
with
Brian.
the
Great
detail of what she said about
Yeah.
that. But there are so many positions that she has taken over the years that, again, have been so radical that I can't imagine a gun owner in central Pennsylvania going for this.
Right.
Or a gun owner in Michigan. My
Yeah.
goodness. I mean, how many gun owners are in Michigan?
Yeah.
That they're going to go for this.
What about the private sector unions? I mean, you think where do they go now?
Well, I mean, I think the private sector unions are one thing, but the members of those unions are something else altogether.
And they love Trump.
Yeah, I've had people here in Chicago, like for instance, Jim Sweeney at Local 150. He's admitted that his members don't do what the leadership does.
That is so true. That is so true. You listen to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony. He's Charles Thomas. We'll be right back.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Call your foursome to tee up for prizes and great fun. It's the 27th Annual Crew Chicago Leader Impact Golf Outing. Join Leader Impact for a fun day on the course at Bloomingdale Golf Club August 5th. Shotgun start 8:30 a.m. with lunch and awards at 1:30. A foursome is $1,000. Includes 4 squares for prizes and 12 mulligans per group. For details, email bob.blesser@gmail.com. Leader Impact, providing extraordinary experiences for business leaders and executives. Weekly meetings integrating the Christian faith.
You've heard Remke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Remke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Remke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Remke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Remke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to remkesgarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Remkes, REMKES, garage.com.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. Just how long have Democrats known of Joe Biden's cognitive infirmity? A presidential debate last month finally and completely exposed the cover-up, both by leading Democrats as well as the mainstream media. Until then, both groups accused critics questioning Biden's fitness for office of using cheap fakes. The Wall Street Journal has now published an expose that provides the start date for the cover-up, October of 2021, almost 3 full years ago. A disastrous engagement with House Democrats on the infrastructure bill uncovered Biden's cognitive decline to Nancy Pelosi, So much so that she never had Biden engage with the House Democrat caucus again on legislation. Every participant in that process saw the issue. Vice President Kamala Harris was part of it, and thus part of the problem. It would take willful blindness not to see what was clear for all to see. Biden was failing. Will she ever be held accountable for it? Not while elite media hides its own complicity in the cover-up. I'm Ed Morrissey.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
You know what, Charles? People forget the one person who ruined any chance of Kamala Harris becoming president in 2020.
Yep.
We're going to hear from her. She's not joining the show, but I have an audio clip that we're going to play from her. This lady single-handedly ruined and ended Kamala Harris. Now on to Mike Scott in the newsroom.
She keeps raking in big bucks. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We've got some work to do.
That's Vice President Harris at her first rally since becoming the presumptive Democratic nominee.
We're not afraid of hard work. We like hard work, don't we?
Telling a crowd near Milwaukee.
And we will win this election.
Tonight, President Biden will address the nation for the first time since dropping out of the race and endorsing Harris.
The Harris campaign is touting a $126 million fundraising haul since Sunday. In a new memo, they say they're confident the vice president can expand their support, especially among minority voters. The Trump campaign says Harris is tied to the president's record on inflation and the crisis at the southern border.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. Now, the former president told reporters,
I agreed to a debate with Joe Biden, but I want to debate her, and she'll be no different because they have the same policies.
Former President Trump also posted on Truth Social he'll meet with Israel's prime minister on Friday, the day after Benjamin Netanyahu sits down with President Biden and Vice President Harris. Today, Prime Minister Netanyahu will address Congress, though some Democrats plan to boycott that, and there's a large fence around the Capitol. Expecting a lot more of those pro-Palestinian protesters, like yesterday when about 200 were arrested. A plane crashed in Nepal. Fox's Jonathan Savage reports.
The Soria air flight to Pokhara caught fire as it was taking off from Nepal's capital, Kathmandu. There were 2 crew and 17 passengers on board. The passengers were technicians being transported to repair another aircraft.
They were all killed. The pilot, however, was rescued alive. Delta may be closer to recovering from Friday's global tech outage that's caused the airline to cancel more than 5,000 flights so far today, only about 50 grounded as the U.S. government investigates Delta amid a lot of passenger complaints. And Salt Lake City, Utah has just been awarded the 2034 Winter Olympics. America's listening to Fox News.
6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. 69 degrees in gray skies. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A line of fast and furious thunderstorms left down trees and power outages in their wake. North suburbs saw the brunt of that damage, especially Morton Grove and Glenview. We're following breaking details on a story in the far western suburbs as a DeKalb man is accused of threatening to assassinate Republican State Representative Jeff Kiker. That man will remain in jail. Forrest Brandon faces a criminal felony charge for threatening the life of a public official. Police say Brandon threatened to assassinate Kiker in a phone message about DeKalb's senior health. On July 15, he was arrested last Friday. Brandon was previously found guilty in 2022 of 4 charges of false 911 calls. Authorities are investigating a shootout involving an off-duty Chicago police officer on the far south side. Alderman Matt O'Shea of the 19th Ward.
I know physically he's okay. I just hope that he's okay, because this had to be an extremely traumatic experience for both he, his wife, and his children.
Gunfire was exchanged after an off-duty officer was confronted by armed offenders yesterday morning near 108th and South Campbell. Resident Jim McAteer says it's a strange place to steal cars.
If I'm robbing neighborhoods, I'm not coming to this neighborhood. You drive up and down the block, there's CPD, bumper stickers, flags, signs. I mean, it's pretty common to find a police officer on a block.
Reports say the offenders tried to carjack the officer. No injuries were reported. The DuPage County Sheriff's Office says a person was found with a gunshot wound inside of a car in a driveway near 16th and Myers. The Sheriff's Office now calls the death of 38-year-old Ala Namat a homicide and is investigating that death. 2 were hurt after a boat explodes on Lake Michigan in the northern suburbs. The Lake County Sheriff's Marine Unit responded yesterday after that boat caught fire in the lake. 2 Good Samaritans picked up 2 injured occupants and transported them to shore before they were taken to the hospital. Representative Jan Schakowsky joining a small but growing list of Democrats who will boycott Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress over concerns about humanitarian issues in Gaza. North Shore Democrat Brad Schneider says he will attend. Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 1-0. While the White Sox continue their 9-game losing skid with a 3-2 loss to the Rangers. The news is a service of Blue Stars Security. Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at bluestarssecurityllc.com, bluestarssecurityllc.com. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
News happens fast.
The former president was whisked away after gunshots rang out at his rally north of Pittsburgh.
President Biden wrote in a letter posted on social media. It says it is in the best interest of his party and the country to stand down.
When news breaks.
Best suited to assume the position of Vice President of the United States is Senator J.D. Vance.
It happens here.
I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States.
This is your breaking news and election station. AM 560, The Answer.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
NYPD officer Jonathan Diller's tragic story made national headlines this year. Now, Jonathan was shot and killed by a career criminal during a traffic stop. Jonathan, who's just 31 years old, leaves behind his wife Stephanie and 1-year-old son Ryan. Now, nothing will ever replace the loss of a husband and a father, but the Tunnel to Towers Foundation was able to pay off the mortgage on the Diller family's home. Please commit to $11 a month. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $240. There are only 2 good things about aging, wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part, my guidance cost you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
At 6:07 on WIND Chicago, let's check the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. On the Ike this morning, inbound between North Avenue and the Tri-State, you've got a rollover semi. 2 right lanes are blocked. 27,000 pounds of canned goods spilled all over the roadway. Now, the problem there is, as you well know, that's a major construction zone headed to the new Tri-State overpass that's being built there. So you got double trouble on the inbound Ike this morning in Elmhurst. Dan Ryan accident, left lane blocked inbound right at 95th, and stop-and-go traffic on 57 inbound jammed up 111th into the Ryan. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
A shower in the area this morning, otherwise partly sunny. High today 76. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 63. Sunny, nice day tomorrow, the high near 80. And then mostly sunny, terrific day on Friday, the high at 83. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
69 at O'Hare, 68 at Midway, 68 Lakefront, and your Lake Michigan water temp, comfortable 73. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Chicago morning from AM 560 The Answer. I'm John Anthony, host of the hit radio show heard every Saturday, Black and White Radio, from 4 to 7 p.m., joined by my sidekick, Charles Thomas, former ABC 7 reporter, and just all around smart and good guy, Charles. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. Charles, I don't know. I'm watching Fox News right now, and they're saying that it's been proved that the Secret Service knew that the shooter was on campus. And Charles, we're going to get into the takedown by Tulsi Gabbard on Kamala Harris, but Charles, why, if you knew that there was a threat on grounds, why allow the president to even take the stage?
Look, I kind of take a larger view of this. Let's go back to Afghanistan.
Ooh.
And the pullout.
Yeah.
And what happened. How they screwed it up. Let's go to the border. How they screwed it up. No, nobody wants that to happen.
Right.
Let's go to any number of incidents that this administration has tried to manage the government. And I consider the Secret Service part of the government. The fact that they could screw this up as much as they did screw it up is part and parcel of what they've been doing for the last 4 years, and the media has been covering for them. When this is outrageous, what they did there.
You heard what Trump said,
that's assuming there wasn't any major conspiratorial, JFK-style CIA plot.
Yeah.
It's just dumb incompetence.
Yeah.
That this is
that we
the
know
hallmark
of
this
far.
Administration. Yeah, but I can understand it that way more so than I can even understand it as a conspiracy to kill Donald Trump.
Yeah.
This is just negligence, incompetence, you name it. This is what they've been doing.
Yeah.
And I can come up with other examples of things this administration. The border. Think about Ukraine. Think about how they've screwed that up. They're
Israel.
losing that. Putin could be rolling tanks into Kyiv by election day.
Correct.
What are we going to do then? What's that going to mean?
Yeah.
This administration has screwed things up.
Yeah. Well, Trump said, I took a bullet for democracy. And he also said that the Biden administration Secret Service did not protect him well, because he's been begging for more Secret Service protection for the last 2 years, and he's been denied, according to reports.
It's just one thing after another thing, and they're letting these people off the hook. The media, is the mainstream media, is letting these people off the hook consistently. This is outrageous. They should the president himself should have to answer for this.
Right?
Did he fire this woman? Did he come out and fire her? No,
she resigned.
She resigned.
Come on, Charles.
He should have fired her.
Day one. The moment that happens.
Nobody has paid a price for Afghanistan.
No.
13 lives.
No.
Of our finest, young people lost.
Yeah.
Nobody paid a price for that in the military.
And Charles, when I get into this article with the Federalist, the 30 things that the 30 reasons why Kamala Harris shouldn't be I keep calling her vice president. I mean, there's a list of things that I think a lot of people forgot about her because I mean she's really done nothing and she's been laying really low, but she's been the biggest cheerleader behind all of the policies that Joe Biden has implemented, right? Charles?
You mean Kamala?
Yeah, Kamala. She's been his biggest cheerleader.
Well, of course. I mean, that was her job.
Right.
She was supposed to do that, but I think she did it with relish. I mean, she wasn't resistant. I mean, the whole business at the border. She's the border czar.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Right. Charles.
Think of the job she did.
The year's 2020. The Democrat primaries hadn't taken place. There's a debate. Joe Biden and Tulsi and a couple other candidates on the stage. If I'm Trump, I'm watching this because when you look at how Tulsi Gabbard just demolished Kamala Harris, guess what happened a couple of days after? Kamala Harris drops out of the presidential race because she knew there was no path for her. If there was no path for her then, how was there a path for her now? And Trump should watch how Tulsi handled her. Here's what Tulsi had to say about Kamala in the 2020 Democrat primary.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris.
Charles?
That was Tulsi Gabbard was I was hoping that Donald Trump would have chosen Tulsi Gabbard to run with him because she is a lot like me, a person who was a Democrat, former Democrat, voted for Democrats 99% of the time, although I'm not officially a Democrat. But living in Chicago, I voted for Democrats.
Yeah.
She was the kind of Democrat that I like.
Yeah.
But I'm cool with J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
I'm cool with him. I'm hoping now that Donald Trump, when he assumes office, will name Tulsi Gabbard his Secretary of Defense.
Oh, she's going to be in the cabinet.
I mean, I like Tulsi Gabbard, and I think she was right on point. And I think Donald Trump will learn from that. There are parts of Kamala's past that she is so vulnerable.
You heard Tulsi mention a guy on death row. Well, his name is Jamal. Here's just a snippet of what he had to say.
A million years, I would have thought that they were going to charge me for Sal's murder. I never talked to no detective, no police officer, no DA, nobody.
Just arrested and then charged.
Arrested and charged, that's it.
Was the first time you saw Kamala Harris in person the day that the verdict was issued?
She showed up at the two most pivotal times in this first trial, and me being convicted and me being sentenced. She wanted to be present for a celebration of a conviction.
That's what it felt like, a celebration?
A celebration, that's what it felt like. The reactions I get when I tell people my story is, they say it's the worst nightmare. You know, it's the closest thing to dying.
That's Charles?
Hey, man. I would
living proof.
Look, man, at this point, I would get on an airplane and go wherever to be one of Donald Trump's media consultants.
Yeah.
Right now, because there is so much material that you can dig up on.
Wait. I should call Lynn Patton and make that connection for you.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'd love this.
Especially in the black, she's running all things black related with Trump.
Apart, piece by piece by piece.
Yeah.
And because she's very vulnerable, and I'm not going to be misled by what happened in West Allis yesterday.
Yeah.
There is not, once people find out who this person is, where she's been, what she has said and done in her career, how she came up in the game, they're going to say, whoa, 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 wait a minute, not my country, especially after Donald Trump took a bullet for America.
Yeah.
I mean, people are looking at that. I don't care who you are, right, left, center, whatever. You look at that and say, hey, this guy really loves his country.
Hey, Blake Moore, of course.
All that he's gone through.
Yeah. Blake Moore, of course, Willie endorsed Kamala Harris. Of course he did. But, Charles, if I make that connection, I want to cut. I'm just telling you right now. I'm making deals live on air on the Chicago Morning Answer. I'm a deal maker. That's what I do. I connect people. Let's go to Joe from Hoffman Estates. Joe, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
I'm wondering if you think the low-informed voter, quite a few of them, are going to see a black female and just get excited about it and
Yes.
pull the lever, push the button, whatever, vote for, and this will make the Trump election a little bit tougher, if not a close one.
I would agree. I think Charles alluded to it earlier. Not just the black vote, but also the white suburban female voter. I mean, they're now giddy and excited because now, especially if they were teetering on if they wanted to vote for Trump or not, they're now back in the column and saying, "Whoa, Kamala, yes, let's go."
Yeah, you got women that are going to vote for Kamala because she's a woman. You got blacks who are going to vote for Kamala because she has part of the black experience in her past.
Yeah.
There are people that are going to do that, and we fight that every day. I fight that battle every day, trying to tell people, look, move to the middle.
Right.
Take a look at both sides. Make a deal, black man.
Well, Charles, I got excoriated back in 2008 by a lot of some family members because I will never vote because somebody looks like me or has darker skin than me. I will never vote for an individual like that. I'm with Dan. I don't believe in the identitarian aspect of those politics.
And people should understand, too, how has that worked for you?
Mm-hmm.
Has it worked for you? You here in Chicago, you got a black mayor, black county board president, black state's attorney, black
still have the worst schools,
police superintendent, black fire commissioner in Chicago. And what do you have
Nothing.
in the city of Chicago
Nothing.
for black folks?
Nothing.
Huh?
Absolutely nothing.
You can't spend a dime in certain neighborhoods and buy a soda pop from a black person.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, Charles, is the sales tax in certain parts of Cook County like 11%? It's like a special designated tax zone where the tax rate is a lot higher than the rest of the county?
Well, in Chicago, it's higher than the rest of the county, I believe. Yeah, by a penny or so. But I mean, the property tax situation that's exploding right now, I think they're trying to mollify many black voters in the south suburbs by this big tax refund thing that Maria Pappas has come up with, and they're going to refund money. This is a buyout. This is a payoff.
Yeah. Charles,
that's all.
Is this something we said? Because the phone lines just blew up.
Well, they should. Thank you.
Let's go to...
Because I think America understands what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's go to Carol from Moments. Thanks so much for holding, Carol. Welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Nice to talk to you, John and Charles. Good morning.
Good morning.
And, Kamala is absolutely proof positive that anyone, and I mean anyone, could become a lawyer.
Oh.
So the Chicago public school kids have nothing to fear. They could go to law school.
Yeah. Well, I will say, as somebody who's been tinkering with the idea of going to law school, that LSAT is a tough test to take, and I'm reminded by my good friend Dennis Rebelletti. Anybody that passes the bar exam, that's one of the toughest tests to ever take. So, I think who she is and what she's done far outweighs her law degree, getting that law degree. Charles, thanks so much, Carol. Appreciate the call. Right?
Oh, but yeah, I don't. I'm not familiar with what it takes to become a lawyer.
It's tough.
But she's a lawyer. It's just that she takes a different point of view.
Yeah.
She's not what I would call a hard-nosed prosecutor, as we just heard from Tulsi Gabbard, that she plays political games she played political games as a prosecutor.
Right. And you said she's from the hood, but I don't see the street smarts in her.
Well, she grew up she lived in Oakland around the same time that I did, in Oakland, California. She lived on the east side of Oakland in what they call the Flatlands, which is nearer to Berkeley, where her parents were either going to school or teaching. So she grew up with black folks in the first 7 years of her life, and she did.
Oh, there it is. That's why.
Ride a bus and
Okay.
all that. But then her parents got divorced, and she moved to Canada.
Oh,
and she finished high school in Canada.
Yeah.
And her mother, of course, is from India, and she maintains relations with her parents, with her relatives in India
and Jamaica,
as well as those in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, where her father was born. Of course, she is married now to a Jewish man. So she is a multicultural candidate. She is the kind of candidate that this country will see a lot more of mid to late 20th century because of the demographics of America.
Yeah.
But I think she's a little bit ahead of her time.
Yeah, I want to know what Dr. Umar feels about her. Dr. Umar says, if you're black, you shouldn't be dating or married to white people. You know that,
Dr.
right?
Dr. Umar and all that.
Yeah, but I guarantee that part, if he's with it, if they want her to win, the people that put that garbage out will bypass that, one of their convictions to make sure that she gets in there, right?
Yeah, but I think they're on the extreme in that regard. As take it from someone who is in an interracial marriage.
Right, but I'm an interracial guy.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-504-8790. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-504-8790. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-504-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
You've worked hard and accumulated wealth, but you know the pitfalls involved in passing significant assets to your heirs. The team at Spahn Financial will help you feel secure with personalized financial planning to achieve your legacy goals. They anticipate and manage all your wealth planning needs and focus on the full financial picture, including tax efficiency, income distribution throughout retirement, philanthropic giving, estate planning, and more. They even help you prepare the next generation to be good stewards. Kevin Spahn is a 2024 Forbes Best in State Wealth Advisor and Barron's Top 1200 Financial Advisor. Visit SpahnFinancial.com to schedule a consultation and to view disclosures. That's SPAHMFinancial.com. Forbes Best in State Wealth Advisors List, April 2024. Data as of 6/30/2023. Barron's Top 1200 Financial Advisors List, March 2024. Data as of 9/30/2023. No compensation provided for ratings. Marketing fees apply to promote ratings.
When you're in chronic pain, you're miserable to be around, and so are the people who have to watch you suffer. So stop it. Do something about it. Now's the time to be proactive and take care of yourself. And there's another solution other than surgery or drugs. Call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics, they have a cutting-edge treatment that revitalizes your joints with your body's own healing process. So if you have arthritis or if you're in pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, back due to an injury, you need to call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation and get your life and mobility back. You know, I've been to one of their clinics. I met a few of their customers. They were smiling from ear to ear, so happy to have their mobility back, pain-free, without surgery. They have locations all across the Chicagoland area, including new locations in Crystal Lake and Gurnee. Call for a free consultation, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955, 312-809-5955.
Hey, folks. I just can't help thinking of our stress levels. And high blood pressure is the #1 key risk factor for mortality. In fact, 1 in 2 Americans walking around have high blood pressure. That's a ticking time bomb. But thankfully, it's never been easier to take control of your blood pressure. With 120 Life, a truly remarkable natural juice blend that can actually help you lower your blood pressure without the side effects of taking pills every day. 120 Life is formulated with scientifically backed ingredients from superfruits, berries, and minerals that have been shown to naturally help control high blood pressure. And it works. It's endorsed by over 70 health professionals, and I assure you, that's not fake news. I use it myself. I love it. You can try it for yourself risk-free with their 2-week trial. Just go to 120 Life and use the coupon code LIBERTY to save 15% and receive free shipping. If 120 Life doesn't help lower your blood pressure in 2 weeks, they give you your money back. It's guaranteed. Go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Go to 120life.com today.
This is Sean Thompson. When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have somebody else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement, but you don't have a plan customized to your goals, it's like kind of taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in the suitcase. Sounds like a stressful way to begin what should be a relaxing time. Tom Fortino at Alpha Wealth Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to reduce future taxes, address Social Security and healthcare, and a whole lot more, all with a clear, defined income strategy. Call the Alpha Wealth Group at 630-934-1855. Ask for the complimentary retirement plan. That's 630-934-1855 or online at alphawealthgroup.com. And listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. right here on AM 560.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
AM 560, The Answer.
Charles, I'm ready to tackle this Federalist article, the 30 reasons why Kamala Harris shouldn't be president. We're gonna do. That's why I didn't invite a guest in the 6:30 hour. So I'm ready to tackle it. With that, we send you to Mike Scott in the newsroom.
At 6:30 in Chicago, we have cloudy skies and we've had some light rain showers this morning. Kamala Harris's presidential campaign vetting potential running mates. Campaign has requested vetting materials from several potential running mates on the Democrat ticket, including Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, but not Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Being the governor of the state of Illinois, and I've been out on the campaign fighting hard for Democrats. I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm very interested in making sure that Kamala Harris becomes the next president of the United States.
Pritzker on MSNBC. President Biden will address the nation tonight from the Oval Office, his first on-camera appearance since he dropped out of the 2024 presidential race. Dozens of Democrat lawmakers, including Chicago's Jan Schakowsky, will not be attending Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress today. There's new body cam footage related to the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. Fox's C.B. Cotton is in Pennsylvania.
This body camera video shows the moments right after gunman Thomas Crooks was identified as suspicious by local law enforcement before the shooting. But now this body camera video appears to confirm that Crooks was identified as suspicious to at least some Secret Service agents.
This is his bike with the stuff. And our sniper seen him walking away from that, I believe. Okay. But he would be right inside that window.
Ronald Rowe has been named the new acting director of the Secret Service after Kimberly Cheadle faced intense scrutiny for the apparent security lapses during the July 13th rally.
Fox's C.B. Cotton in Pennsylvania. A West suburban man is accused of threatening to assassinate Republican State Representative Jeff Kiker, and that man will remain in jail. Forrest Brandon faces a criminal felony charge for threatening the life of a public official. Some 200 were arrested Tuesday at a pro-Palestinian event in a congressional building on Capitol Hill, the Cannon Office Building. Taiwan has shuttered offices, schools, and tourist sites across the island ahead of a powerful typhoon. A domestic plane has crashed just after taking off from the airport serving Nepal's capital. 18 were killed. The Winter Games of the Olympics are returning to Salt Lake City in 2034. The IOC made the announcement this morning in Paris. Chicago Cubs left 10 runners on base in a 1-0 loss to the Brew Crew at Wrigley Field, while the White Sox are on a 9-game losing skid following a 3-2 loss to the Rangers. Garrett Crochet was charged with loss number 7 after allowing just 2 runs on 4 hits. The news is a service of Papa Nicholas Coffee, a Chicagoland tradition for over 5 generations, combining heritage and innovation in every cup. Choose Papa Nicholas Coffee because great coffee is their family tradition. Online at papanicholas.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka sees good things.
The reality is they're losing control of the nation and your capacity to swallow the garbage they're trying to promote. It's a good thing, but only if you get engaged. Because in 4 months' time, if not you, then who? If not now, then when?
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors in Roselle. Summer is here, which is the ideal time to let the sunshine in and brighten up the house. Make those rooms that may appear small, dark, or dingy look better and bigger with larger windows or patio doors. Our highly skilled installers can enlarge openings if your space allows. For decades, Woodland has been transforming living spaces with Marvin windows, featuring styles ranging from modern to traditional. Marvin replacement windows and doors can also bring your backyard right into your living space. Ask us about connecting the inside to the outside. Since 1969, our professional services, along with the best products and installation, are why we are proud of our great online reviews. Need new windows now? Buy now, pay later with 0% financing for 18 months. Terms and conditions apply. Visit woodlandwindows.com and schedule an appointment today. That's woodlandwindows.com.
Do you have jewelry with sentimental value that needs repairing? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I'm a customer of family-owned Rolands Jewelers in downtown Libertyville because it's a place I trust. Their in-house master jeweler does impeccable work, and jewelry comes back repaired in perfect condition and looks the same as the day you bought it. That's a great feeling. Rolands also specializes in custom design. They'll work with you every step of the way to make your dream jewelry idea come to life. The Rolands family is expertly trained to give you outstanding customer service, earning 5-star Google ratings. Now that's impressive. Visit Rolands Jewelers' beautiful showroom in downtown Libertyville for all of your jewelry needs. Visit RolandsJewelers.com. That's ROLLANDS Jewelers.com, or call or text them at 847-918-7300. 847-918-7300. Rolands Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of Blindster.com. At Blindster, they offer custom-made faux wood and real wood blinds and shutters, cellular shades, Roman shades, bamboo shades, and more, all at factory direct prices. Don't pay too much. Go to Blindster.com. Solid traffic on the inbound Edens. 28 minutes, Lake Cook Road to the junction. The Kennedy at 50 minutes, O'Hare into the Burn Circle interchange. The Ike, a mess between North Avenue and the Tri-State. You've got the major ongoing long-term construction there involving the Tri-State and 290. Throw in a rollover semi with 2 right lanes blocked and 27,000 pounds of canned goods scattered all over the roadway, and you have a morning mess. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Shower this morning, otherwise clouds and sun. High 76. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 63. At O'Hare, 69. 68 at Midway. 66 in Aurora. Light rain in Morris. and 65. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony, and he's Charles Love. We're filling in for Dan and Amy. I hope, Charles, I'm getting messages. You guys are breaking the show. Sean Thompson always tells me that. Don't break my show. And I always tease him. I'm going to break the show. I'm definitely going to break the show. I'm getting messages. People are really excited to hear you and I on air together.
Well, hey, man, I'm excited to be here because there is so much to talk about these days.
That's true. Before we hit the 30, because the phone lines are just blowing up. I don't know. I think it's because you're here today, Charles. That's
really?
Yeah. Amy and I probably took 6-7 calls.
These bill collectors are what, man?
Bob is called back. Bob from Buffalo Grove. Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, thanks for getting back to me. When I got cut off, my cell phone dropped it. Yes, I'm concerned. It's not over yet. How is the media going to protect Kamala? I don't see the fake news legacy media going out to vet properly Kamala. And Charles touched upon some of the issues, key one being abortion, but there's so much out there in the background. I'm seeing a lot of it on social media. So will social media be the force that possibly really vets her?
I think it's going to be TikTok. TikTok is going to be the king.
TikTok, all of them, including the mainstream media.
Yeah.
Including the mainstream media. And let me tell you how it's going to happen. Money.
You think so?
Money. You got to have money. If Donald Trump has enough money to saturate all the media with the truth about Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris, then all of these, again, she'll be playing herself in TV ads. Donald Trump won't have to say anything. Just let her do the word salads.
Yeah.
Let her do.
Because she will do that.
Yeah, she'll do it. But it's already done. Right. It's on video. It's in a vault somewhere. Just get it, put it on the air. You don't have to say anything except this ad paid for by the Trump 2024 campaign, Make America Great Again. Done.
Yeah.
You don't need. Donald doesn't need to go out there and attack her personally.
No,
not at all. Just let her play herself on TV.
Yeah, because I said yesterday, policy. That's what Trump needs to focus on. Here's an interesting call. Joe from East Dundee. Welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, John and Charles.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah. I'm from a 10-person family. About half of us Democrats, half of us Republicans. And the one thing I can tell you is that, all my Republican brothers and sisters do not like the border policy.
Yeah.
Just like Kamala's going to try to use abortion. Okay?
Yeah.
The Republicans need to use the border because, it just takes jobs from Americans.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And that's the millstone hanging around her neck, Joe. I mean, she can't get away from it because that was the one job that Joe Biden gave her to oversee, and her and Mayorkas did a terrible job in maintaining the border. So, thanks, Joe. Let's go to Tony from the South Side. Welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, John.
Hey, brother.
Charles.
Good morning.
I want your opinion. So, when she ran in the Democratic primary and the tea leaves were showing that there was no way she could win, so she drops out, what makes her think that things, I'm sure things change, of course, a different scenario, but what makes her think that she can win this time around? I mean, some of those people that would never vote for her back then aren't going to vote for her now.
Right.
So I think that's what we have to kind of look at as well. I mean, I'm just curious about that because,
Tony, I'll tell you this. Remember, though, back then, Trump hadn't been convicted of 34 felonies. Back then, Trump hadn't. I mean, there's a lot of things. He hadn't had the lawsuit with E. Jean Carroll, and they're going to try to play that against Donald Trump. and they think it's going to work in especially, Charles, what we spoke about earlier, in the white suburban with that it'll play well with the white suburban women, and that's how Kamala's going to prosecute this election.
Well,
and it's
my
going to play.
opinion, yeah. Oh, go ahead, Charles.
It's going to play well in the cities where black people live.
Yeah,
it's going to play well. They're counting again on Kamala pulling out the black vote the way Barack Obama did in 2008 and 2012, 2008 in particular, and that is their only path to victory. But I would submit to you that black people are not going to fall for the okie doke again. They're not going to go 95% for Kamala Harris. It might be closer to 80, 75, 80% if the turnout is there. And I don't see that this path to victory will work, but it's all they have left.
It's all they have.
It's all they have, and they are more concerned right now with protecting the down ballot candidates, particularly those running for the House of Representatives, that they can at least control the House, because it seems a done deal that they're going to lose the Senate.
Yeah. Tony, last comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, here's my opinion on that. So, yeah, Trump has been convicted of those charges, but he is innocent of anything because those were trumped-up charges. I think people realize that.
Yes.
And as far as Kamala Cackles is concerned, she'll just play that to the end, and people, I think, will see through that, guys. That's my hope.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks so much, Tony. Really appreciate the call. Let's go to Michael from the South Side. What's up, brother?
Hi, John, Charles. Thank you so much for taking my call.
No problem. Go ahead.
Charles, I love the White Sox cap.
Hey, watch it. Watch it now.
Oh, you're watching? Oh, okay.
Go Cubs. And y'all guys are on a 30,000 game losing streak?
Something like that.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, well, gentlemen, like I said previously, Christmas came early for Donald Trump because Kamala Harris has so many weaknesses. But for the love of God, I hope this time the Republicans come up with a great ground game in some of the key battleground states. And to be honest with you, I think the Republicans should take off the gloves and not be afraid of being called racist if they criticize Kamala Harris. I think they should go for it.
But I don't think Donald Trump should do it. As I stated yesterday, get the dark money to do all that. Get the dark money to go after her. But the campaign of Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, the two white guys, I don't think they should go after, because they're going to come after them. And the media is going to just decimate them, Charles. Thanks, Mike. We appreciate your call.
No, they're going to decimate them, but I think that that iconic photo of Donald Trump and the flag and pumping his fist is a classic. That's right up there with the flag raising on Iwo Jima.
Yes.
That is an image that will live beyond Donald Trump.
But Charles, think about this. The RNC, the Republicans, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, just coming off an amazing RNC Trump assassination attempt before that. And then, boom, cold water is thrown all over that because Joe Biden decides he can't hack it anymore, and he's dropping out.
I think people can connect the two incidents. That's the one that probably is the biggest reason, or the tipping point. That image. The tipping point, Joe's got to go. We got to try something else, because Joe, who can't handle a virus, Donald Trump survived a gunshot.
Yeah.
Who's a stronger man in a world where you've got Xi Jinping and Putin and the mullahs in Iran? And come on, you got to have a strong leader.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden is not that. And they knew that.
That's true. I was perusing through TikTok last night trying to find some audio. I believe, Justin, this congressman name is Colonel Paris, correct, Justin? Is that correct? I think that's his name. Yeah. Because I'm going to take Mike from Hammond's call. He was saying he's a former sniper. Listen to what he had to say about the Trump assassination.
I'm just going to say it. Are you aware, sir, that many Americans believe this was very likely not a lone shooter, but a coordinated assassination attempt? Have you been getting those messages from people like I have?
I have not, sir.
You haven't? Well, there's a lot of people in this room that have been getting the same messages. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that a lot of Americans are like, this doesn't add up, this doesn't make sense, guys? How could this many things have gone wrong, right? Like the things I pointed out, a 20-year-old kid, got 150 yards of the President of the United States with an AR-15, flew a drone to conduct site surveillance, was spotted with a rangefinder ranging targets, then lost, had advanced explosive devices on him with no military training. Nobody was placed in the most obvious spot to conduct counter-sniper operations. I was a sniper in the SEAL Team's Colonel. As soon as I got out of the SUV and I saw that that water tower, I was like, that's exactly where I'd be. Put me right there. So obvious. After partisan attempts to bankrupt him, imprison him for
I don't know if you heard what he said. He's saying the kid wasn't the shooter. He's saying there was a water tower, line of sight with Trump, and he said if he was a sniper, that's where he would be taking the shot. This is a congressman that's saying that, former Navy SEAL 6 member and sniper, saying he doesn't think it's the kid. I mean, that opens up that whole Pandora's box of conspiracy, though, doesn't it, Charles?
Well, it does, but I go back to something I said about a half an hour ago. Why do you think the Secret Service is going to work any better than the FAA?
Yeah.
Huh? The FAA is thoroughly screwed up during the Biden administration because the management of this administration is such that they don't put qualified people in place. They put their political cronies in place.
And both parties do that.
Pete Buttigieg is the transportation secretary. What does he know about transportation? Other than running, I guess they got a bus in South Bend, one bus maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, my sister lives there, so
it's all about, for them, it's all about politics. It's not about country. All this business right now with Joe Biden is about politics, not about country.
Yeah, that's a good point, Charles. Speaking of Mike from Hammond, because you believe there were more lines of sight that wasn't covered, right, Mike?
Well, my opinion is right with Charles. You go from the Afghanistan withdrawal to the border to the cocaine in the White House to Defense Secretary Austin disappearing for 10 days to Pothole Pete not being there for 6 months when we had supply problems. It's just ineptness and incompetence from the top down. They're all identity hires. And what my question is, how many other rallies did he have that something like this was actually an opportunity waiting to happen? This was inevitable, in my opinion. Something like this was inevitable. Now, one other point is, as far as Trump goes, we're all forgetting about his sentencing in September. Do we think that's going to go away?
No.
I got a feeling that the Democrats have got a lot more things up their sleeve for Trump. That's just my opinion. But, Charles, you're right on the money, man. I couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
And you're right on the money about this not being over. That sentencing could be key. If this judge who was basically – a loose cannon, if he should come up and try to jail the president. I don't put it past the Democrats.
Well, that's true. That's true. I forgot all about the sentencing in September. Somebody's asking on YouTube about, was the shooter, the alleged other shooter. Well, there's video footage of a figure sitting up top of this water tower, Charles. And that was one of the things you see, a shadowy figure. It looks like a person kneeling on this water tower. So, I mean, we got a lot of stuff. I'm afraid, man. Listen, I wouldn't put I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just play one on radio. But I wouldn't put anything past the government in the United States of America.
I don't put anything past them.
Look at what they've done to Donald Trump from the moment he came down that escalator. I mean, they spied on him, Russia. They impeached him twice. They went after his business. They tried to lock him up. They've convicted him of 34 felonies, and now there was an attempt assassination.
John, they raided his home. Went through his wife's underwear drawer.
Locked up his friends. Peter Navarro. What's the other guy name from
Manafort?
No, but the other one, he's what's his name? The podcast guy, Bannon, Steve Bannon. I mean, they've basically violated client attorney privileges. I mean, the president can't talk to his attorneys now. So I mean, it's just so much that they've done. Nothing shocks me from this government anymore, Charles. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Think of the FISA warrants and all that they were able to get through the courts. They've gone through this whole lawfare thing, and I think people. One of our callers just said it. I think people are tired of it. I think if there had been just one case, just one of these cases, just one.
Yeah.
But they threw the kitchen sink at him, so everybody knows it's politics.
That's true. Let's go to Tom. I'm sorry, Charles. Tom from Oswego. Let's get this one last call in. Welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, gentlemen. You know, like you guys said, I think the Democrats really are capable of anything at this point. So that doesn't surprise me. I think what bothers me, I'm a small businessman, is that there is not enough focus on who is running the country. Joe Biden hasn't for a long time. And if you looked at him, I think it was yesterday, somebody asked him a question, and he just stared into space and walked up with that smirk. Gentlemen, we have problems in this country worldwide, and nobody is addressing it. The media's not. Kamala Harris isn't talking about it. We've got some real issues, and I don't understand why no one's talking about who is the president, who's running.
Well, we know Barack Obama is the president. Susan Rice is Obama's eyes and ears in the administration, and she's his eyes and ears, and Obama's running this administration, Charles.
Look up the word Politburo.
Ooh.
Politburo. They had one in the Soviet Union. We've got one in this country, and it's all Democrats. They want a one-party system like they had in the Soviet Union.
Wow.
One-party, Democrat Party. That's what they want.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Guys, it's summer and time to do more outdoors, but do you feel out of energy, lacking motivation and mental focus? It could be low testosterone. Low T affects millions of men, and it happens naturally. The solution? Testosterone replacement therapy at Low T Center. It starts with a quick test, and the results are fast. Don't wait. Take control of your health. And now Low T Center is offering a free initial test. So if you're over 30, schedule a visit at lowtcenter.com today. That offer is good until July 31st. lowtcenter.com. Terms and conditions apply.
As a business owner, do you have a strategy for exiting your business? Most business owners don't. Studies done by the Exit Planning Institute show 75% of business owners who don't have an exit plan are dissatisfied with their exit, and 80% of businesses put to market never sell. Total Clarity Wealth Management understands the hesitation to discuss exiting. Will customers leave? Will competitors take advantage? Will key employees leave? That's why they offer confidential planning. Contact Anne-Marie at Total Clarity Wealth Management. Discover what the financial foundation should be to pursue an exit that is satisfying. At some point, you are going to leave your business. Will it be on your terms? Total Clarity can show you the way to financial readiness and keep you on track. Anne-Marie is a certified exit planning advisor. Visit TotalClarityBusiness.com. That's TotalClarityBusiness.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Total Clarity Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax.
We started our company 10 years ago in an effort to help our fellow Christians experiencing tax issues resolve their matters by taking a simple 3-step approach.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys that specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results. We're also a small firm who will treat you like family, not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold now.
Message and data rates may apply.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel, home to the biggest shows on TV, like Brandon Tatum weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, followed by Charlie Kirk at 7. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free, now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Zumo.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. Just how long have Democrats known of Joe Biden's cognitive infirmity? A presidential debate last month finally and completely exposed the cover-up, both by leading Democrats as well as the mainstream media. Until then, both groups accused critics questioning Biden's fitness for office of using cheap fakes. The Wall Street Journal has now published an expose that provides the start date for the cover-up, October of 2021, almost 3 full years ago. A disastrous engagement with House Democrats on the infrastructure bill uncovered Biden's cognitive decline to Nancy Pelosi, so much so that she never had Biden engage with the House Democrat caucus again on legislation. Every participant in that process saw the issue. Vice President Kamala Harris was part of it, and thus part of the problem. It would take willful blindness not to see what was clear for all to see. Biden was failing. Will she ever be held accountable for it? Not while elite media hides its own complicity in the cover-up. I'm Ed Morrissey.
AM 560, The Answer.
Charles, Chicago leaders brace for as many as 25,000 new illegal immigrants ahead of the DNC.
You mean that's in addition to what we've already taken,
addition
the 40,000
to
we've
what?
already taken.
I didn't say 2,500. I said 25,000.
Hey, man, that's what they want, and people want to go out and vote Democrat for this administration. They can expect more beyond those 25,000 additional ones.
I agree
that you mentioned. If the Kamala should be the nominee,
I agree. We discussed this and more with Alderman Ray Lopez at the top of the hour. Now on to Mike Scott in the newsroom.
WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
It's raising even more questions. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Secret Service body cam video from right after they killed gunman Thomas Crooks in the Trump assassination attempt.
That's the sniper that sent the original pictures and seen him come from the bike and set the book back down and then lost sight of him.
Okay.
We've been told that he was identified as suspicious by local law enforcement before the shooting. But now this body camera video appears to confirm that Crooks was identified as suspicious to at least some Secret Service agents.
That's Fox's CB Cotton in Butler, Pennsylvania, 11 days after the Trump rally shooting. The Secret Service is now recommending the Trump campaign not hold any more outdoor rallies. The day after the head of the Secret Service resigned, FBI Director Christopher Wray will testify at yet another House hearing into security lapses in that assassination attempt. Now to the campaign trail.
Donald Trump intends to cut Social Security and Medicare.
Vice President Harris at her first rally near Milwaukee since replacing President Biden as the presumptive Democratic nominee. Now, former President Trump tells reporters he wants to debate the vice president and that she shares the blame for record illegal immigration.
Countless Americans have been killed by migrant crime because of her willful demolition of American borders and laws.
There's a large fence around the Capitol ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress later today. There already were 200 pro-Palestinian protesters arrested yesterday. There is Olympics news. We've just learned tennis star Coco Gauff will be the female American flag bearer during Friday's opening ceremony in Paris for the 2024 Games. Joining NBA star LeBron James will also carry a U.S. flag. And we got this announcement from the head of the International Olympic Committee.
The 27th Olympic Winter Games 2034 are awarded to Salt Lake City, Utah.
You may recall that Salt Lake City hosted the 2002 Games. America's listening to Fox News.
69 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. It was a line of fast and furious thunderstorms that left downed trees and power outages Tuesday evening in the north suburbs, especially in Morton Grove and Glenview. A DeKalb man accused of threatening to assassinate Republican State Representative Jeff Kiker will remain in jail. Forrest Brandon faces a criminal felony charge for threatening the life of a public official. Authorities continue investigating a shootout involving an off-duty Chicago police officer on the far south side. Alderman Matt O'Shea of the 19th Ward says he was carjacked.
I know physically he's okay. I just hope that he's okay, because this had to be an extremely traumatic experience for both he, his wife, and his children.
Gunfire was exchanged near 108th and South Campbell. Resident Jim McAteer says it was a strange place to try and steal a car.
If I'm robbing neighborhoods, I'm not coming to this neighborhood. You drive up and down the block, there's CPD, bumper stickers, flags, signs. I mean, it's pretty common to find a police officer on a block.
In other news this morning, after quietly dropping its high-profile lawsuit against gunmaker Glock, the city of Chicago is refiling what they say is an expanded suit against 3 additional defendants. The city's deputy mayor of immigration saying officials are anticipating and preparing for the possibility of a large influx of migrants from the southern border to coincide with the city hosting the Democrat National Convention. 2 people are hurt after a boat explodes on Lake Michigan. Lake County Sheriff's Marine Unit responded yesterday to that boat catching fire and then exploding near the North Point Arena. The vessel burned for about 90 minutes. A Good Samaritan transported the 2 victims to shore before they were hospitalized. The owners of the United Center in Chicago planning a massive development around the arena. Michael Reinsdorf and Danny Wirtz announcing plans for the 1901 project.
Taking that energy and excitement that lives within the walls of the United Center and infuse it in our surrounding area.
It would become the largest private investment on Chicago's west side ever if approved. First phase of the project could begin in the spring of 2025. Cubs lost to the Brewers 1-0. White Sox lost to the Rangers 3-2. The news, a service of Health Insurance Mentors. Are you 65 or older and thinking about Medicare? Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Call Stephen Tucker today. HealthInsuranceMentors.com or 630-674-1551. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
If you claim to stand for unity,
An already unprecedented election season
you need to do more than just use the word.
just got even more complicated.
I'm never going to drop out, and now I'm dropping out.
As Kamala Harris prepares to become the Democratic nominee.
I'd vote for Kamala.
There's an incredible bench in the Democratic Party.
29 days until they have to make a decision on a nominee.
What happens next happens here
Kamala Harris, not a fan.
on your election station.
I don't think Kamala has a chance to beat Trump.
AM 560. The answer.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river. And the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
Jerry Paget, the second enlisted in the U.S. Navy and deployed multiple times to Iraq and Afghanistan until Jerry was catastrophically injured in an improvised explosive device blast. Now, Jerry received a new smart home thanks to our friends at the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Now, the home is in the foundation's Let Us Do Good Village. It's in Florida, and Jerry now lives more independently thanks to the specially adaptive technologies. Commit to $11 a month, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Homeschooling is becoming much more common these days. Children graduate at a higher rate, and a vast majority of homeschooled children go on to graduate college. But where do you start? How do you homeschool your children? Visit homeschools.org for an amazing homeschool curriculum with Christian values. Christian Liberty Homeschools is a pioneer of the modern homeschool movement and has helped thousands of families get started and succeed. With a Christian Liberty homeschool curriculum, school is on your time. It's flexible, allowing you to vacation whenever you want and making the world your classroom. Watch how your child's confidence soars as you stay in control of the content of your child's education, backed by a great support network. If you're ready to escape from the public school system and homeschool your child in good faith, visit homeschools.org today. Christian Liberty Homeschools, where your child's future is in great hands. That's homeschools.org.
7:07. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of Papa Nicholas Coffee, a Chicagoland tradition for over 5 generations. Choose Papa Nicholas Coffee because great coffee is their family tradition. Online at papanicholas.com. Inbound Kennedy 47 O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Our big trouble spot, the inbound Ike, right now jammed up between North Avenue and the Tri-State. A rollover semi there. 2 right lanes are blocked with 27,000 pounds of canned goods. Now onto the shoulder, but things are still tied up on the inbound Ike. 70 minutes or more on your inbound commute there. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast with Steve Williams.
A shower in the area this morning, otherwise partly sunny. High today 76. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 63. Sunny, nice day tomorrow, the high near 80. And then mostly sunny, terrific day on Friday, the high at 83. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
69 at O'Hare, 68 at Midway. Your next news update is at 7:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good day, Chicago. I'm John Anthony, host of Black and White Radio, heard every Saturdays from 4 to 7 p.m. I hope you've tuned in. Download the podcast at 560theanswer.com. Click on Black and White. Joined by my good friend, my buddy, my pal, Charles Thomas, former ABC 7 reporter. Brother, thanks so much for joining me today.
Good morning.
Those first 2 hours blew by, didn't it? Charles, those first 2 hours just, they blew by
They
quickly.
zipped by, man. It's just you and me pretty much just talking about all that's going on in the country and in the world.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are upset that Dan and Amy aren't here. I do believe they'll be back here tomorrow. I'm a listener. I listen to the Morning Answer. I listen to the Sean Thompson Show. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I listen because I learn so much from Dan and Amy and Sean Thompson as I'm listening, especially the Morning Answer. Man, Dan is the premier radio guy as it relates to analysis of the issues of the day. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, if you want a digest on common sense, tune in to the Morning Answer because you'll get it.
Yeah. And speaking of Chicago, as I stated before the break, they are embracing for a caravan of people, 25,000 people, on top of what Chicago has, how they've been inundated by immigrants in the past, year, 2, 3 years now. Joining us to discuss this and more is Alderman Ray Lopez. He's the 15th Ward Alderman, friend of the Chicago Morning Answer Show. Alderman, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer with John and Charles.
John and Charles, good morning to you and all your listeners this happy Wednesday.
Good morning, Alderman.
Alderman, 25,000 new people crossing over, and I'm sure most of them will probably be shipped out from Texas and many other states. Is Chicago prepped for that, knowing that the Democrat National Convention is coming up?
Well, Chicago has been preparing for at least 1,000 new arrivals a week as we get ready for the Democratic National Convention. We know that it seems to be a lull in the amount of individuals that have been arriving, but none of us truly believe that Governor Abbott is done. He declared as much during the Republican National Convention that the buses are going to start rolling again. And we also know that the migrants crossing over into our country has not stopped. Recently, we learned that the Biden administration has been asking other Central and South American countries to turn back anyone heading this way at whatever point they find them. But we know that thanks to our border czar, who never went to the border, nearly 9 million people have come into this country over the last 3.5 years.
Jeez.
They're all floating down in Texas, California, Arizona, or making their own march towards Chicago and other cities where they know the benefits are ripe and the political will is not, to put an end to this.
Right.
Alderman, we have the election coming up in November, and there's a great fear that many of these people will try to vote. Is there anything that's being done to prevent that?
Well, we have seen in cities like New York, Charles, where they're trying to extend voting rights to non-citizens. And let me just go on record and say, I believe, voting is a right of the American citizen, period. You need to be a citizen in order to participate in our democratic process. What concerns me is that in states like Illinois and others where we have these motor voter laws, where they sign you up when you get a state ID or a driver's license to vote, I have seen personally in my own ward where individuals who are not citizens have been registered to vote.
Wow.
Thankfully, they have never voted because they know that they risk their future immigration status if they were to participate. But that was on individuals who wanted to be a part of this country. I don't know if I would put the same faith in individuals who have manipulated the asylum process from not engaging. But I think there has to be stricter controls, and I think there has to be a renewed debate on whether or not, if identification is free across all 50 states, why we cannot ask for identification or some other type of verification on Election Day.
I agree. And Alderman, are you a delegate to the DNC convention?
I am not a delegate.
Okay. Now, here's my
caucus was not invited.
Well, you speak too much truth for them. Now you've spoken out a lot about immigration in the last couple of years. Now, as you know, Kamala Harris is the so-called appointed one. How does she square the complete and utter failure of the Biden administration, which she led as it relates to immigration? How does she square that with trying now to get people to vote for her based upon a colossal failure?
Well, I think that's going to be the interesting part, John, to be perfectly honest, on multiple fronts. First and foremost, she's not going to talk about the border because the failure is her own. Whether she wants to recognize it or not, I believe it was in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, that President Joe Biden appointed her the border czar. Mm-hmm. She came to Chicago on numerous occasions that I can recall where I invited her to come see what the border camps look like in Chicago, and she never once stood at any one of them,
wow,
let alone went to the actual border itself.
Well, she said they've been there. She said, we've been there, but, oh, yeah, we're going to be at the border.
But, going to Taco Bell is not visiting the border.
Oh, wow.
Let's get that clear.
Yeah.
Taco Bell is not the border.
Yeah.
You
now,
can't say that.
Yeah.
But what I think is going to be very interesting, let me just end on this, is that she has to square off that failure with two necessary demographics of the Democratic Party's voting base. The impact that immigration has played out not in the Latino community, particularly those who were of immigrant status that have been waiting for a path that they completely got leapfrogged over by individuals bypassing using asylum, and then by the African American community who has had to deal with the pressure strains and the resource drain given to these individuals, like we've seen in Illinois, where nearly $2 billion has miraculously appeared to help 150,000 individuals, but yet that kind of money has never been put into the disinvested communities on the south and west side of the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
How do you answer that as you ask for their vote, saying that, I'm not really the one responsible for any of this?
Ooh, that's going to be tough for her to do. Now, as it relates to the DNC convention, there are a couple of groups, the U.S. Palestinian Community Network, Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. They want to march on the DNC convention. They want to get close to the United Center. I mean, when you look at I don't think we've talked since the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. When you look at that, shouldn't they not be allowed? There should be a buffer zone, in my opinion, of miles from getting to any of the people that are showing up for the Democrat National Convention. What's the latest on that? Have they been given a specified route where they can go and protest?
Well, the unfortunate thing is that, yes, the Secret Service and the Chicago Police Department have created a footprint that allows for permitted public demonstrations for groups like that, and anybody else for that matter who wishes to protest peacefully at the Democratic National Convention. The problem that we're going to have is that you have aldermen like socialist Byron Cicho Lopez and his crony, Mayor Brennan Johnson, who don't necessarily believe in permits. Like watching the old Cheech and Chong skit, we don't need no stinking papers. They are encouraging people to come in.
Wait. A Cheech and Chong. I love it. Go ahead.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
We don't need no stinking papers. And that's what we're going to get with these protests, because they encourage the right of protest. You have a mayor whose whole tenure was born out of protest. I'm sure he had no permits to march down LaSalle. I'm sure they've never had a permit with the CTU. And he's going to see no issue or need to arrest anyone who violates that footprint order.
Alderman, what about cops?
Also see organizations like BLM, who are just this morning or just yesterday announcing that they are not in support of this. So what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Alderman, what are we going to do about police during the convention? Will we have enough, or will we have to import them from other jurisdictions?
So my understanding is that we are going to get an infusion of law enforcement officers so that Chicago police can focus on Chicago issues, and then whether they are state, county, or other individuals, they'll be able to focus on securing the convention site and things of that nature. But what really worries me is that no matter how many police that we say that we're not taking off the streets, we are already entering this convention at a deficit in our neighborhoods.
Wow.
Right.
We still have 911 calls that are taking an hour to respond to, if at all, because oftentimes, unless there's a body on the ground, the police aren't coming. And that's only going to get exacerbated as we have 12,000 people of Democratic Party importance flooding the United Center, having to be protected. Individuals, gangs, drug dealers, everybody's going to know that the streets are going to be not as well defended. And I'm sure going to take full advantage, because we see that even now without a convention taking place.
Yeah. You look at why did they pick Chicago? What benefit does the DNC gain from picking a city like Chicago, which is pretty much in their column already, the state of Illinois?
That's a very good question. And I often think that they're trying to project strength by going to a stronghold. Mm-hmm. But I think that is a very short-sighted approach.
It exposes
I would have said this. Yes, and I would have said this had they picked L.A. or New York. And as much as I love having people come to Chicago, stay in our hotels, go to our restaurants, we are limping along right now in this city with our inability to keep people safe, to keep tourists safe, to create with some of our policies to keep criminals off the streets. I don't think that that's what we need to highlight right now. And we can't just do the Gavin Newsom sweep everybody off the expressway and put them in a warehouse somewhere, hope that no one recognizes all of the issues that we've had up to this point. But I think it's going to expose the short-sightedness of the Democratic Party, not to be inclusive, not to look for those Indiana Democrats, those Pennsylvania Democrats, those Ohio Democrats from swing states that we need to win.
Correct.
Those downtown streets, though, going west toward the United Center are being cleaned. In fact, they took up many homeless people off of Lake Street several months ago. And then now they've put up a wrought iron fence at Des Plaines in Taylor, where there was a very large homeless camp. They've cleared the camp, put up a wrought iron fence along the expressway to keep homeless people away. I mean, are you guys being kept, as aldermen, being kept abreast of all this that's going on in terms of cleaning homeless people off the street, at least for the duration of the convention?
Charles, I will say, for as long as you've covered Chicago politics and City Hall, it seems as more progressive our leadership becomes, the more secretive our leadership becomes. Mm-hmm. We probably had a better idea of what was going on in government when Mayor Daley was around than you do with Mayor Johnson being around. Because I can tell you, 95% of city council finds out about things once it's been reported or shown on Twitter.
Yeah.
We are not included because the mayor does not feel that even the quarterly reporting of funding and expenditures on migrant issues as required by law is something he needs to follow.
I had a comment made to me in the past few days where I was told by an opponent of the Democratic Party, that the national Democrats would love to run the national government the way Chicago and Cook County Democrats run this region.
Wow.
Think
That speaks
about
volumes.
it. The national Democrats usually they hold these people in higher esteem. The Cook County and Chicago Democrats.
Isn't Obama doing that now, though?
Yeah, I mean, it's what's going on right now with this business with Biden bowing out of the race.
Yeah,
it's happening the same way it would happen if it was in Cook County and Chicago.
And think about it. Even Congress has been running that way for nearly 20 years now. When's the last time you've seen any congressional committee have a spending or appropriations bill, dealt with their department, specifically for that department?
Under Bush.
We've been omnibus continuing resolutions for 20 years. No one reads these 20,000-page budgets.
Well, it's not even a budget. It's continuing resolution.
Right. It's just add 20% and keep it going.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And we're taking on debt. We're not asking questions. You're not allowed to have members have original thought once it comes out of leadership. And now we've just shown the country that you don't even need to resign in person. You could do it with a computer-generated signed letter.
You know,
you could have a party of elites pick your nominee.
We got about a minute and a half left. I was going to ask you about the Glock lawsuit, but how's it playing out? What are you hearing about how this process played out with Joe Biden stepping down and Kamala basically being installed?
Well, the process isn't over, but definitely it seems like the fix was in.
Yeah.
But let me just say something about the Glock. We have a number of outstanding lawsuits that our mayor said he was going to sue. Remember Hyundai and Kia?
Yeah.
Which I posted on Twitter, and all these other attention headline-grabbing things. At some point, we have to start working beyond the headline. And I don't know if our mayor has it in him to do that, because I've seen a lot of things proposed, and nothing ever materialized.
Ooh, I love that, working beyond the headlines. He could take that and run with that and shift and change Chicago if he wanted to. He's 15 Ward Alderman Ray Lopez. Thank you so much for joining us on the Chicago Morning Answer today. Really appreciate your time.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure.
Thanks, Alderman.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Call your foursome to tee up for prizes and great fun. It's the 27th Annual Crew Chicago Leader Impact Golf Outing. Join Leader Impact for a fun day on the course at Bloomingdale Golf Club August 5th. Shotgun start 8:30 a.m. with lunch and awards at 1:30. A foursome is $1,000. Includes 4 squares for prizes and 12 mulligans per group. For details, email bob.blesser@gmail.com. Leader Impact, providing extraordinary experiences for business leaders and executives. Weekly meetings integrating the Christian faith.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly will be the best health insurance you will ever have. Imagine having an annual deductible of only $240. There are only 2 good things about aging: wisdom and Medicare. But to navigate the Medicare maze properly, you need a mentor. Best part, my guidance cost you nothing. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Medicare, then you need a local expert on your side, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 30-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for more than a decade. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Guys, it's summer and time to do more outdoors, but do you feel out of energy, lacking motivation and mental focus? It could be low testosterone. Low T affects millions of men, and it happens naturally. The solution? Testosterone replacement therapy at Low T Center. It starts with a quick test, and the results are fast. Don't wait. Take control of your health. And now Low T Center is offering a free initial test. So if you're over 30, schedule a visit at lowtcenter.com today. That offer is good until July 31st. lowtcenter.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you saved enough? What are you going to do with Social Security? What will your taxes look like in retirement? Scott Tucker believes retirement planning should be easy, and you should be able to get all the information you need in one place. That's why Scott created the Retirement Decoded Toolkit, a comprehensive resource for your retirement. In it, you'll find a copy of his latest book, Escape Illinois: Should I Stay or Should I Go? This book will provide insight on taxes, Social Security, income, and more. To get your free Retirement Decoded Toolkit, text KIT, K-I-T, to 847-474-3888, or go to retirementdecoded.com. Now, in addition to the book, you'll also receive resources on retirement's most common concerns. Get your Retirement Decoded Toolkit from Scott Tucker right now by texting KIT to 847-474-3888, or go to retirementdecoded.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. A registered investment advisor, this is a paid placement.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we speak to Jonathan T. Gilliam, former FBI special agent and Navy SEAL, about the Trump assassination. But I want to lobby something. I want to lobby for Quinn and Justin to get a raise because, Charles, they have to deal with Charles Thomas, John Anthony, Dan and Amy. They deserve a raise. They make it really great. They're very professional. Some of the best in the business, Charles. I mean, some of the best in the business.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
They make doing this easy. Now on to Mike Scott in the newsroom.
7:30 on AM 560, The Answer, and President Biden expected to address the nation in primetime today from the Oval Office. His first on-camera appearance since dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. This morning, FBI Director Christopher Wray is set to testify about the Bureau's investigation into the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. Lawmakers at the hearing are likely to press Wray for fresh detail about the gunman's motive and background in the July 13 attack on Donald Trump. Trump, meantime, says he will debate Vice President Kamala Harris, as she is now the presumptive Democrat nominee for president. Harris in Wisconsin yesterday launching her presidential bid with her first campaign rally.
One of our country's largest for-profit colleges that was scamming students. Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students.
Her campaign is currently vetting potential running mates, most of which are from states Democrats need to win to defeat Trump in November, like Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle resigned after testifying before Congress on former President Trump's security detail at a presidential rally. Now the agency has told the former president to keep all of his rallies inside. On Fox News, Congressman Ro Khanna says the director thought she might be able to keep her job.
I do think she should have been asked to resign or fired.
If you claim to stand for unity,
And already unprecedented.
Was shot that he retired afterwards and was asked to leave. She was surprised.
President Joe Biden has announced he will choose a new director. Team USA's men's soccer begins its run at the Paris Olympics today. The team playing host nation France in round one of the 3 group stage matches. And the IOC this morning says Salt Lake City will host the Winter Olympics in 2034. A line of fast and furious storms last night downed trees and left power outages in their wake in Morton Grove and Glenview. A DeKalb man accused of threatening to assassinate Republican State Representative Jeff Kiker will remain in jail. Force Brandon faces a criminal felony charge for threatening the life of a public official. Authorities are investigating a shootout involving an off-duty Chicago police officer on the far south side. Alderman Matt O'Shea of the 19th Ward.
I know physically he's okay. I just hope that he's okay, because this had to be an extremely traumatic experience for both he, his wife, and his children.
Reports say the offenders tried to carjack the officer. The suspects fled in a dark-colored car, but one of them was arrested near the scene. No injuries were reported. Authorities in DuPage County are investigating a deadly shooting that took place in Lombard Monday night, where the victim's son said he heard the deadly shooting happen while he was on the phone with his dad.
I was on the phone with him yesterday, and I thought it was firecrackers. I went outside to check on him, and I saw that, and I just told my mom stay inside, and I called the police.
DuPage County Sheriff's Office says a person was found with a gunshot wound inside of a car near 16th and Myers. Sheriff's Office later calling the death of 38-year-old Ala Namat a homicide and is investigating that death. Well, maybe some good news this morning for those of us who pay property taxes in Cook County. Thousands of us will be receiving refunds beginning this week. Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas sending out more than $22 million in automatic refunds to property owners who overpaid on their property taxes last year. Go to the Treasurer's website to find out if you are due a refund. Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 1-0. White Sox lost again 3-2 to the Rangers. The news, a service of Del Bacchio Marchetti Group of Hat Properties, Christie's International Real Estate, experts in the northwest suburbs and Chicago with over $800 million in sales. Call 708-828-0000. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk wants early numbers.
The thing we have to emphasize is how many voters are we registering, how many ballots are we chasing, and are we able to dominate in voting month? Election day is the last day of voting. The Democrats have run up the score in 40 days before Election Day. We are going to do our part to try to close that gap.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you have jewelry with sentimental value that needs repairing? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I'm a customer of family-owned Rolands Jewelers in downtown Libertyville because it's a place I trust. Their in-house master jeweler does impeccable work, and jewelry comes back repaired in perfect condition and looks the same as the day you bought it. That's a great feeling. Rolands also specializes in custom design. They'll work with you every step of the way to make your dream jewelry idea come to life. The Rolands family is expertly trained to give you outstanding customer service, earning 5-star Google ratings. Now that's impressive. Visit Rolands Jewelers' beautiful showroom in downtown Libertyville for all of your jewelry needs. Visit RolandsJewelers.com. That's ROLLANDS Jewelers.com, or call or text them at 847-918-7300. 847-918-7300. Rolands Jewelers, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
7:37. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, in this update of service of Papa Nicholas Coffee. A Chicagoland tradition for over 5 generations. Hot air roasted locally and cold blended in small batches to ensure premium quality. Choose Papa Nicholas Coffee online at papanicholas.com. The Ike shut down inbound temporarily right now. You're diverted off onto the tri-state. You're solid back to York Road because of that overturned semi. It's now on the shoulder, but they've got to upright it. For that, they need all the lanes in that very narrowed down construction zone. Travel it every day. So we're watching that remain shut down for the time being on the inbound side of the Eisenhower. Stevenson inbound, 60 minutes, 3:55 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And as you're traveling this morning on I-80, we're watching a big jam up westbound between Pulaski and Cicero. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Shower this morning, otherwise clouds and sun, high 76. Clear to partly cloudy and 63 overnight. Partly sunny right now officially at O'Hare and 69. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back, Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony, filling in for Dan and Amy alongside Charles Thomas, former ABC7 reporter. I thought that interview with Lopez was pretty good, Charles.
Yeah, Lopez is always interesting to hear.
Yeah,
especially because he is about the only voice of reason.
Napolitano is another one. You know,
Napolitano.
Yeah, he comes out. He's been on my show. He's somebody that speaks the truth.
Anthony Beale.
Yeah,
I think makes common sense.
Yeah,
and it has nothing to do with party affiliation either. It's just common sense, y'all.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all it is.
You know, after watching when I first heard I was going to be doing the show with you, Charles, the other day, I immediately wanted to bring a good friend of mine on, especially after hearing the Secret Service agent continuing to deflect all of the questions to the FBI. You know, well, that's not something. Well, the FBI is handling the investigation.
That was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was beyond awful. But I reached out to my good friend, and I will never initial him because he hates. He called me out live on radio when I gave him his initials. You know, like AOC. I will never do that again. He's a former FBI. Listen to this. Listen to his pedigree. He's a former FBI, Navy SEAL, Air Marshal, and currently a security contractor. He's written the book Sheep No More. He has an expert podcast. You name the talk show, he's on it, except social media has been shadow banning him because I haven't seen any of his stuff. Jonathan T. Gilliam, welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer.
What's going on, my friend? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. There's so many places to start with this. How about we start with the assassination attempt? What went wrong there, Jonathan? I mean, how do we have such a colossal failure protecting a candidate and former president of the United States of America?
Well, it was so bad that I started to ask that question. How could this occur? As I was watching it happen, a friend of mine, one of the guys that worked for me, he wrote me and was like, Trump just got shot. And I'm like, what? So I turned the TV on, and as I see the first replay, I'm sitting there with my jaw dropped because if Trump had a nicked artery, he could have bled out by the time they got him into that truck. And then the time it took the truck to get out of there. And I was like, okay, this is horrible. This is like, who are guarding him? They're not even tall as he is. Like, who are these people? Then when they pan back and I start to see the videotape that people are sending in real quick, I'm like, who did the threat assessment? Who was the advance here? And then about 3 days later, they revealed the timeline of events. And when the timeline was added in there, it just didn't make sense that they knew the guy was there. They didn't approach him. They didn't stop Trump from going on the stage. There was an Iranian threat. Once they determined that this guy was on the roof with a gun, the Secret Service knew it for 2 minutes and still didn't pull Trump off the roof. And then they finally take a shot after he takes a shot.
Right.
Now, what does that tell you from an investigative standpoint is that their bad tactics, their bad training, their bad decisions created a fatal funnel for an individual to get on a building and take a shot at Trump. When that came out, when I finally saw that, then I have to start questioning, and I'm not a conspiracy guy, but I have to start questioning, why was this allowed to happen? Because there was so much incompetence that it created that fatal funnel. So was that just incompetence, or was that done on purpose to create that and in hopes that perhaps somebody would take a shot sometime?
Right.
I
know you're not
evidence is there for that.
Right. I know you're not a conspiracy theorist. That's why I wanted you on. You speak the truth, even if it's the truth we don't want to hear. What's your theory on? I mean, a lot more people who have military backgrounds, Secret Service backgrounds, FBI backgrounds are starting to say there might have been more than one shooter. What's your theory on that?
I mean, there could have been. I've seen no evidence of it, and the number of shots that you hear have been pretty much accounted for. So the other issue that we have now is that conspiracy theories pop up, and American people are too lazy to go and do the research on not just what they're being told, but who's telling them. And you can look at every single thing that happens. These people have podcasts, they have social media platforms where they make money off of clicks, and they think they know stuff because they sit around with each other and talk and make up stuff, and they put it out, and then everybody else puts it out. So, when I hear a conspiracy theory such as two shooters, and this guy, they had a video where he analyzed a video, I then go back and I look at the news and I see if I can pick out anywhere where the sheriff's department or police department said something, and then Secret Service said something, and I try to look for evidence that I can get, and you'll see that there was more than one shooter. There was two different TAC guys who took a shot. One was accurate, one wasn't, and then you had the shooter that was shooting. So, the conspiracy theories lead people away from the definite evidence that this same thing that happened with the FBI when it came to investigating, and they created evidence, fake evidence, pushed it through FISA. Everybody said, "Oh my gosh, this, they blame this." It is this thing that goes through the government, the IRS with Lois Lerner, the FBI, the CIA, in the way that they work, and there's specific things that they do with the 20 or whatever it was, intelligence executives that signed a letter that was fake about Trump and about the laptop.
Hunter Biden.
All these, it's all the same stuff. It's all the same problem, all the same politics, and then when you get down on the ground, those things are creating either the avenue for the investigation or a fatal funnel for a shot to be taken.
Jonathan, this is Charles Thomas, the co-host this morning. I look at the fact that, I tend toward the incompetence angle on this, because this shooter apparently lived only 35 miles from the location. To think of this being some international conspiracy, how could this guy end up so near to where the president was speaking? If he had been imported, that's okay. We can talk about conspiracies, but the guy lived just 35 miles or 35 minutes from the actual scene.
Well, that's why I don't. The conspiracy of who did it is not as important for me at this point, except for the fact if there's a connection. But the how he was able to do it, and when I look at that how, I see incompetence. But when I see the timeline, I see knowing or willing or purposeful, I guess is the best word, purposeful actions that put the president in harm's way. It wasn't just the bad threat assessment or the bad tactics. It was the fact that they never pulled him off the stage, that they let him go on there. And then when they knew somebody was there, they still didn't pull him off the stage. That these things they add up. I mean, over a period of time, when you look at the totality of the circumstances, you have to start asking, why were they so dead set on keeping him on that stage? And that plus the tactics, you look at the funnel and you have to ask, was that purposeful?
Yeah, and especially it's coming out that the Secret Service knew there was a viable threat and yet still put Donald Trump on that stage. But
they kept calling him a suspicious person.
Yeah.
And we don't treat suspicious people as though they're not a threat. We treat them as though they are a threat until we vet the threat.
Yeah.
And that wasn't done.
Right. Now, let's talk about the Secret Service director. What's happening? How is the investigation being played out right now with the FBI? If you were there, I mean, what would you do? How would you start off this investigation? And how much of the information would you tell to Congress and to the American people?
Well, first of all, I want to know who's doing this investigation, just like I want to know who did that advance and the threat assessments and who was in charge of the Secret Service detail, right? Because I want to know if they have political leanings. I want to know who the people are doing the investigation for the FBI, because if any of those people were a part of the Mar-a-Lago investigation, the dossier, the fake dossier investigation, who worked with FISA judges illegally, I want to know, because those people continue to resonate in the FBI that were part of that. I want to know who's doing the investigation. And then as I'm leading it, it depends on who was in charge of that event. If the director had direct oversight, which she says she didn't, then telling the director what they found, you should have confidence in the director to tell her, we found this many bullet casings, for instance. We know that there was only one shooter here. We know we see that you didn't have the perimeter done, and that's how it's okay to tell the director if she didn't have any oversight of that mission, because she's the director of the Secret Service. She can start making changes.
Right.
You know, the other thing is the shooter himself. We know so very little about this person at this point, and we're, 10 days after, 10, 11 days after this? We still don't know who
and why
this guy was. Yeah, why? What was he doing?
The only people we know, and this is, I'm not a conspiracy guy. This is true, and I think most people see this. If a white cop shoots a black criminal, you are going to know everything about that cop in 2 seconds, right? And you're only going to know about all the good things that the criminal did. In the case of when somebody who is transgender or somebody apparently shoots Donald Trump, nothing comes out about those people.
Right.
You don't know. It's being kept for security reasons. Well, there's certain things. I mean, what if he's connected? What if people are out there and don't realize it? They haven't even reached out to the public to see if the public knows anything.
Right.
It's very odd.
And Jonathan, you know, the rumor is that he had some overseas encrypted connections on his phone as well. I mean, that all just, isn't that weird?
It reminds me a lot of Nashville.
Yeah,
the Nashville shooting.
Which they still haven't released a manifesto, right?
Right. Well,
and you know, here's the thing: the reporting of this is what you got to understand is that the leftists in the government, and not just politicians, they know how to use propaganda and subversion. So within a day or two, the FBI puts out a press release saying we don't believe there's any mental issues. We haven't seen any evidence of social media or group. We haven't seen any involvement with groups, radical groups. Like, why would they put that out 2 days afterwards unless they're trying to program everybody so that they think, okay, Well, the FBI didn't see anything, so there's probably nothing there. Okay, so this guy didn't have social media, but he's got 2 phones.
Yeah.
How many 20-year-olds do you know that have 2 phones?
Yeah.
That just, unless they're up to something or the business that they work for gives it to them, nobody walks around with 2 phones and a detonator. That is somebody that either had training or would have had a presence on their computer where they learned all these things.
Could he have been radicalized? You think that's a theory?
Well, apparently his mom's a Democrat and his dad's a Libertarian, so I think that's probably about as radical as you can get. So I think that's possible. And the parents who called the police department and said their son was missing and their rifle was missing knew something about that kid.
Yep.
They knew something about him, and that is also being left out of all this.
Yeah, you think the reporting gets released if Donald Trump does not win? Because I think the only way we find out what we need to find out is if Trump wins and releases it.
Well, first of all, the media has pretty much already moved on.
Yeah.
It was Kimberly Cheadle, and now they've moved from now it's to Kamala, but they've moved from why and how did this happen. They've moved from that. They've reported a little bit here and there, but to me, next to the FBI fake dossier, which is everything the FBI does is honest, supposed to be justice, which is blind and not. I mean, I always thought you'd go to jail if you falsified evidence, but that and what you're seeing now, these are, I think, 2 of the biggest issues and plain issues that everybody can see since the federal government that we know it has existed.
Yeah,
and I think the way the media turns so fast that I just think, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but
no,
I don't.
You are. I don't think so. I personally don't think so.
Trump could lose. Everybody sees this strong man get up and do this fist and says fight, and the media has filtered that away.
Yes, they have. Jonathan Gilliam, former FBI, Navy SEAL, Air Marshal, currently a security contractor, author of the book Sheep No More. I'm telling you, that's a great read. If you haven't read his book, Sheep No More, go out and get it wherever books are sold. Expert. Are you still doing the Expert podcast?
I did a little short one the other day. I need to start doing it, but it's so. Short comment. Podcasts are flooded with nonsense and idiots, and I just it's hard for me to step into that arena because I don't want to be compared to those people.
Yeah. Are you being shadow banned on social media? Because I have not seen a lot of your stuff, brother.
Yeah, I go and do stuff, and I get like 5 hits on it, whereas I used to get millions.
I know. I mean, they have completely shut you down because I used to see your stuff every morning when I wake up. Your stuff would pop right up. I mean, I hate that because you're a great voice. I'm not going to say for people on the right, but for common sense people. So that's why I love you, brother.
Well, I think if people do it, if people take my stuff and put it out, or they hear me talking, they record it and put it out, I think that'll help a lot. And if Trump is listening or anybody knows Trump, somebody get me a meeting with that guy. Everybody says they're going to. Nobody ever does. For 4 years I've been dealing with. Even Hannity never got me a meeting with him.
Yeah, Scott Casper, Mark Vargas, you guys are listening. Make that happen. I'll connect you with some of those guys, Jonathan.
You got it, buddy.
All right, Jonathan T. Gilliam, thanks so much for joining us on the Chicago Morning Answer. And he joined us on the Turnkey.Pro Answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Sean Thompson. When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have somebody else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement, but you don't have a plan customized to your goals, it's like kind of taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in the suitcase. Sounds like a stressful way to begin what should be a relaxing time. Tom Fortino at Alpha Wealth Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to reduce future taxes, address Social Security and health care, and a whole lot more, all with a clear, defined income strategy. Call the Alpha Wealth Group at 630-934-1855. Ask for the complimentary retirement plan. That's 630-934-1855 or online at alphawealthgroup.com. And listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. right here on AM 560.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them, not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Hey, folks, I just can't help thinking of our stress levels. And high blood pressure is the #1 key risk factor for mortality. In fact, 1 in 2 Americans walking around have high blood pressure. That's a ticking time bomb. But thankfully, it's never been easier to take control of your blood pressure. With 120 Life, a truly remarkable natural juice blend that can actually help you lower your blood pressure without the side effects of taking pills every day. 120 Life is formulated with scientifically backed ingredients from superfruits, berries, and minerals that have been shown to naturally help control high blood pressure. And it works. It's endorsed by over 70 health professionals, and I assure you, that's not fake news. I use it myself. I love it. You can try it for yourself risk-free with their 2-week trial. Just go to 120 Life and use the coupon code LIBERTY to save 15% and receive free shipping. If 120 Life doesn't help lower your blood pressure in 2 weeks, they give you your money back. It's guaranteed. Go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Go to 120life.com today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Charles, immigration is going to be a huge issue for Kamala Harris. Joining us at the top of the hour is former Yuma Sector Board or Patrol Chief Chris Clem. I want to talk to him about, how does Kamala campaign when you look at her border record and what she's done as it relates to immigration.
She got some explaining to do.
She's got a ton of explaining to do because, I think when you look at why black people shifted from Trump, one of the reasons why they shifted was the immigration issue and the resources that were pushed to the immigration issues that took away from a lot of the black resources. And that's one of the reasons, especially the black men, came out against her. With that, more, we're going to shift it over to Mike Scott in the newsroom.
WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
He'll set a record. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. When Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addresses Congress today for the 4th time, eclipsing Churchill as the most for a world leader ever, but not everyone's welcoming him. That's outside Congress, where a large fence is up. More pro-Palestinian protesters are expected. About 200 arrested yesterday, angry about the war in Gaza. Some Democrats plan to boycott or not be there for some reason.
Most notable is Kamala Harris, the vice president, of course. She would have been sitting right behind the prime minister next to House Speaker Mike Johnson. She'll be addressing a sorority in Indiana today instead. And at least 18 House Democrats and 9 Senate Democrats are also expected to skip Netanyahu's address.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Capitol. Tomorrow, both President Biden and Vice President Harris will meet with Netanyahu. Tonight, we'll hear from the president about finishing his term, which some Republicans don't think he should after dropping out of the 2024 race. In her first rally since taking over as presumptive Democratic nominee, Vice President Harris said near Milwaukee she's ready to take on former President Trump.
I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
Now, the former president tells reporters
Kamala Harris was appointed border czar, as you know, in March of 2021, and since that time, millions and millions of illegal aliens have invaded our country.
The Secret Service is recommending no more outdoor Trump rallies after the assassination attempt 11 days ago. An hour from now, FBI Director Christopher Wray will testify at another House hearing probing the shooting, and he may be asked about this new information.
Body cam videos showing Thomas Matthew Crooks dead on the roof just after he opened fire on former President Trump. You can hear a Secret Service agent confirming to a local police officer that he did receive a photo of Crooks from a sniper prior to the shooting. After he saw him get off of a bike instead of back down before losing sight of him.
Fox's Brooke Singman. America's listening to Fox News.
69 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A line of fast and furious thunderstorms left down trees and power outages in their wake Tuesday evening. The brunt of that damage in Morton Grove and Glenview. A DeKalb man is accused of threatening to assassinate Republican State Representative Jeff Kiker. That man will remain in jail. Forrest Brandon faces a criminal felony charge for threatening the life of a public official. Authorities are investigating a shootout involving an off-duty Chicago police officer on the far south side who was carjacked. Alderman Matt O'Shea of the 19th Ward.
Okay, I just hope that he's okay, because this had to be an extremely traumatic experience for both he, his wife, and his children.
Gunfire was exchanged after an off-duty officer was confronted by armed offenders yesterday morning near 108th and South Campbell. After quietly dropping its high-profile lawsuit against gunmaker Glock, the city of Chicago is refiling an expanded suit against 3 additional defendants. The city's deputy mayor of immigration saying Tuesday that officials are anticipating and preparing for the possibility of a large influx of illegal migrants from the southern border to coincide with the city's hosting of the Democrat National Convention. 2 people are hurt after a boat explosion on Lake Michigan in the northern suburbs. Lake County Sheriff's Marine Unit responded to the North Point Marina after that boat exploded in the lake, and 2 occupants were injured. Chicago sports. Cubs lost to the Brew Crew 1-0, while the White Sox, a 3-2 loser to the Rangers. The news, a service of Remke's Garage. Take it to the experts. Take it to Remke's Garage. Remke's Garage is your Sprinter, diesel, and Toyo tire headquarters. Visit Remke's Garage, REMKES Garage.com, and schedule your inspection today. 8:04. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. And now, the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
AT&T only matched expectations for its earnings, and its revenue was disappointing, but the stock is higher, partly because AT&T is signing up more customers with a monthly bill. It's also adding more AT&T fiber customers. AT&T shares are up 5%. General Dynamics just reported a mixed quarter. The stock is higher. Alphabet shares are losing ground, though earnings top forecast. Wall Street was expecting stronger ad revenue growth. Tesla's discounting to boost sales cut into earnings in the recent quarter. Sales softened anyway, and the stock is slumping. LVMH saw its sales decline in the recent quarter, joining other luxury brands. Apparently, the post-pandemic boom in high-end luxury products is fading. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
AM 560 news time is 8:05. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager can't get in the mindset.
I don't get how people who do think clearly and morally in general become never Trumpers. I've tried to wrestle with this since 2016. It doesn't matter how much damage the left does, I will never support Donald Trump.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
When you're in chronic pain, you're miserable to be around, and so are the people who have to watch you suffer. So stop it. Do something about it. Now's the time to be proactive and take care of yourself. And there's another solution other than surgery or drugs. Call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics, they have a cutting-edge treatment that revitalizes your joints with your body's own healing process. So if you have arthritis or if you're in pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, back due to an injury, you need to call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation and get your life in motion mobility back. You know, I've been to one of their clinics. I met a few of their customers. They were smiling from ear to ear, so happy to have their mobility back, pain-free, without surgery. They have locations all across the Chicagoland area, including new locations in Crystal Lake and Gurnee. Call for a free consultation, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955, 312-809-5955.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANSindustrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
NYPD officer Jonathan Diller's tragic story made national headlines this year. Now, Jonathan was shot and killed by a career criminal during a traffic stop. Jonathan, who's just 31 years old, leaves behind his wife Stephanie and 1-year-old son Ryan. Now, nothing will ever replace the loss of a husband and a father, but the Tunnel to Towers Foundation was able to pay off the mortgage on the Diller family's home. Please commit to $11 a month. Go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
8:09, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg traffic center time. The Ike inbound still shut down between the tri-state and just about all the way to Mannheim right now. Solid traffic backed up to York Road. Traffic diverted right now to southbound 294 because of a rollover semi. It's been in place for quite some time, and that also is a major construction zone as well, with the tri-state overpass being built and lane restrictions on the inbound Ike. It's a mess right now, and we'll keep our eyes on that for you, but the inbound Ike remains shut down. Closed because of a rollover semi. Stevenson inbound right now is at an hour into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan stop and go in the express inbound between Garfield and the Stevenson. The Reagan medical emergency. Responders are on scene in a left-hand lane eastbound right at Winfield Road. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast with Steve Williams.
A shower in the area this morning, otherwise partly sunny. High today 76. Clear to partly cloudy tonight, low 63. Sunny, nice day tomorrow, the high near 80. And then mostly sunny, terrific day on Friday, the high at 83. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
We're seeing some storms tracking through Morris, Dwight, Pontiac area right now. Drive with care there. 69 at O'Hare, 70 at Midway, 67 in Aurora, and your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good Chicago morning. I'm John Anthony, host of Black and White Radio. Heard every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on these airwaves, joined by my longtime friend and confidant, and sometimes, Charles Thomas, former ABC 7 reporter. Charles, those we're in the last hour, brother. This day flew by, man.
Yeah, man. This is This is a long show, but man,
Yeah.
it's flying by because there's just so much to talk about this morning. Really, this week, this has been an incredible 2 weeks.
It really has
in America.
And as I stated before the break, Charles, I really believe this immigration debacle is going to hurt Kamala Harris in more ways than one.
Let me say something real quick. You know, over the past 50 years, when you talk about being a black man in America, I can think of 2 instances where black people have really got the short end of the stick. One was the 1994 crime bill, which led to the mass incarceration of black men in this country. And then there's the open borders policy, which is taking away resources that would be used by the black community, as well as including housing and as well as just out and out doling out money.
Yeah.
Think about these 2 instances. Joe Biden, by the way, was involved in both of them. But if there is any reason to reject the Democrat Party this year in 2024, it is this open borders policy, which is stealing from
so many resources
and disrupting the struggle of black people.
And it's not just black people; it's the entirety of our country.
Exactly,
you know,
but black people in particular, because they go so whole hog for the Democrat Party. They got to understand what's going on here. These people are not on your side. They are replacing you.
Right. And Charles, remember, Joe Biden appointed Kamala Harris as the border czar, or I believe it was in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Now, her job was to get the border under control. Because remember, initially they were saying, we have no problem, we have no problem. Kamala didn't even go to the border. I mean, she had not even been to the border. And you are the vice president of the United States of America, and you are now the border czar. Listen to what she had to say.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, you know, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
Joining us to discuss this and more is Chris T. Clem. He's the former Yuma Sector Border Patrol Chief. Chris, welcome to Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, gentlemen. Boy, I tell you what, I am happy to be on here, and I loved the discussion y'all were just having because there's so much to say to sink our teeth in because it's been such a problem for so long under this administration.
Now, Chris, I've read a couple of reports where it said that, now, you and I both know Kamala is the border czar. Now, is it true she has not spoken to the former Border Patrol chief and now the current Border Patrol chief? She's yet to meet with them and have discussions with them about what's happening at the border, which she's over?
Yeah, that's true. I know both the former chief, Raul Ortiz, very well, and I know the current chief, Jason Owens, very well. I was a border chief down on the southwest border, not only in El Paso, Yuma, but I was also the deputy chief in El Paso and Big Bend, Texas. I was the chief down there for a few months. Look, with this crisis, when you have the problems we've had at the border, it's made all the headlines for the last several years. Even the last few years of Trump, it was making headlines. We never had Biden or Harris come down till the pressure got on them, and she made one trip to the border, and that was a facilitated, through a processing center, not at the actual line, with Democratic Congresswoman Veronica Escobar, and they spent more of their time at the non-government organization advocacy, migrant advocacy group. So it wasn't about border security. It was about making a field trip down there to say, I went to the border. But again, guys, I'm ready to tell you about the numbers. Let me tell you what happened under this border czar, It's crazy.
Please do. Charles, you got a question?
No, I'm good, man. I'm listening.
Yeah.
It's
a couple things you guys brought up, and I think it's so important to foot stomp what you just brought up. I think it was Charles, and for your audience to understand. Not only are minorities and just people across the country impacted by the 7, 8, 9 million that have come in that have been arrested and mostly released. But look, down in Yuma, Arizona, where I spent my last 2 years of my career as a chief patrol agent, the food bank was completely obliterated because everybody was putting things to the migrants, to the non-government organization. There are, last year alone, 700 unique families, meaning new families that were signing up to get food from the food shelter that they hadn't fully restocked because everything that this policy has done, and all the shelves were empty because they were helping the migrant flow there in Yuma.
Wow.
3 weeks ago, I was in Macomb County, Michigan, and a group of volunteers from Flint, Michigan, mainly African American youth from about 18 to 30, where we asked them, how is this impacting us? And they're like, we're having to wait for our services because they brought in migrants that are being housed over here. And so, I mean, this is a real deal. So whether it's conservative Southwest border families that are hurting in the border, or people up in Michigan that are hurting, this migrant crisis, what has happened is open border policies have impacted Americans from the border to Michigan and around the country. And that's just with allowing the migrants to come in here that are here illegally, that have been released, that are impacting services. And you guys have seen the headlines where they were making demands in Denver of the things that they wanted. I mean, we can't. Charity starts at home, man. We have got to take care of our own people who are struggling before we bring in. I want to help out. I want to be that beacon of hope, but we've got to get things right for Americans who are suffering, where our homeless children, hungry children, veterans, our own citizenry who are suffering need to get taken care of, or at least given the opportunity first before we start bringing in millions more. Yeah. It's frustrating, and again, one more thing, guys, and I want to prompt this for you guys. It's more than an immigration issue. It is a public safety and national security issue, and that is a betrayal by this administration. Whether it's the president or the vice president, it doesn't matter. They are the number 1 and 2 people in charge of this country to protect us, and the national security and public safety problems we've had are fall squarely on their shoulders any way you cut it.
Yeah, you just stole my thunder, because I just wrote down, how is this not a national security issue? When you look at the numbers, how many people have actually crossed our borders? And not just the people, I get it. People want a better life. I get that. I'm more concerned about those people that are using this as a cover to come into our nation and do God knows what damage across the United States of America. How many of those people, those bad actors, do you believe have gotten through and have the potential to destroy America?
Yeah, well, it only takes one, to set a chain of events. But to your point, you have about 90% of the people that come in are currently claiming that they are seeking some kind of relief or asylum. They don't meet the basic tenets of it, but by our policies and the policies of this administration, they've allowed them to stay until they get that hearing, which has been anywhere from 4 to 7 years out. So they're kind of in a no man's land for the next few years. And we have no idea what their intentions are because we can't vet them. They say they're vetted, but if there's no information, they're coming from a country we have no relationship with. We don't know who they are other than when we take their fingerprints, and if they're not arrested or have a record here in the United States, we don't know who they are. So we have to take them for what they're worth, and they end up getting placed in removal proceedings, but that means they get released into the country. So we don't know what their intent is unless we were able to discover that upon apprehension. You have the other groups of people that are actually evading us. Like, why on earth, if you were just coming here for a better life under this administration where we catch you and release you and give you opportunities, why would you run away from the Border Patrol? And that is my concern, because the Border Patrol has reported close to 1.9 million gotaways, people that have gotten away from the Border Patrol so far under this administration. Now, one more thing, or a couple more things on that. The number of criminals that we've arrested at the border are a quarter to 25 to 50% higher than what we did combined under the Trump administration. So statistically speaking, there's going to be, we've caught more, but there's also going to be more in those gotaways. And then lastly, the most concerning is over 370 people that have been caught on the terrorist screening database. So we know that, again, statistically speaking, there's going to be that type of people that would be in that gotaway mix. And then, in the 1st of June, I think there was 8 ISIS-K nexus Tajikistanis that were caught in Philadelphia, New York, and L.A., people that have come into this United States illegally. And thank goodness our law enforcement were able to run down that plot before something happened. So it is real. It is a problem. And look, we can go down a laundry list of the heinous crimes that have been committed that have made the headlines: the Laken Rileys, the Jocelyn's, the Rachel Morans, and the list goes on and on and on. That is impacting America.
Yeah,
and
Trump,
that's the problem.
Trump highlighted a lot of them at the RNC convention. I'm sorry, go ahead, Charles.
So do you have to have ID when you come to the border? That you're a migrant? You have to have some kind of identification?
No. So if you're coming in lawfully through the port of entry, you would apply, and you would hope you would have some kind of identification. But oftentimes they get exploited during their journey to the border, and it gets stolen from them. And they have to just tell the officer at the port who they are, what they are, and we do the biometric screen. If you come across illegally where Border Patrol would catch you, no, a lot of them do have ID. They've traveled. They use that as their basic fundamental ID. But honestly, what is happening, just presenting themselves, they don't have to have ID.
Wow.
Which is crazy, because we give them their official paperwork when they've been processed. They basically are getting released on their own recognizance. That has been approved as an official government document for them to traverse the country. I travel a lot out of the Tucson, Phoenix area, and I've been on planes and watched 10 or 15 board that are like, these people literally just crossed within the last 72 hours. I'm in TSA pre-check, and they just got to walk right in front of me and pass through. But you and I are waiting in line, even if we're paid to get to pre-check. We're still waiting in line, and they're letting these people pass through. It is really unbelievable what has transpired. And I will tell this, look, I don't ever broad brush a country or a race or a culture, because that's unfair. I wouldn't want them to do it to me.
Right.
We've also had about 50,000 Chinese nationals come in illegally in the last 18 months, and that is our major geopolitical foe. And even if 1% of them are subject to coercion and espionage against this country, that's a problem. This is a national security and public safety issue first.
Right.
Get the border controlled, get it secured, put the policies and the practices back in place the way we had them, and then start cleaning up the immigration backlog. Because when you do that, you can make America safe, you can make our borders more secure, and give our border patrons a better chance of doing their job. And that will mitigate some of the crimes that we're seeing. And again, it puts America first, which is nothing wrong with that. When we put America first, we can take care of the world. But if we can't take care of ourselves, then we expect to take care of anybody else.
Yeah, Chris, we got about a minute and a half. I saw a video from Ben Barquam. He did a video, and he showed that you spoke about the Chinese. He did a video showing that they actually have a hotel. There's language. They have the hotel food eateries now right by the California border. Is that true reporting?
Yeah, those things are happening. Look, this is so organized, so well organized by smuggling organizations, cartels, even the country of China, right? Because you just can't leave China. You got to be allowed to leave China. And so this is all well organized. They're paying a lot of money, especially the Chinese nationals. Probably upwards to $10,000-$15,000 a minimum to get across to the organizations. And so it's all completely set up. It's facilitated. And the way the practice has been put in place and the policies under this administration is the U.S. government is actually completing the smuggling cycle, because now the bad guys just have to get the migrants to the border, get them into the hands of Border Patrol, either by making them give up or push them through and up and over the gaps in the wall, and then we facilitate the rest of it, and we release them. So this is solely on the shoulders of the president, the vice president, and this administration. They can't shirk the responsibility. You can't say, "Oh, that's not my job." That your boss tells you to do something, you go, "That's not my job." You don't really last very long, and that's what I've already heard people trying to defend the vice president. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. You're the number 2 in the executive branch responsible for protecting America, and it's been a betrayal on the border for sure.
Yeah, Chris, I'm going to get your contact information, because I would love to have you on my show, Black and Right, on a Saturday, because you're full of knowledge and wealth of information. I really appreciate you joining us this morning, Chris Clem, former Yuma Sector Border Patrol Chief. Thanks so much for joining us on Chicago Morning After today.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Great.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You've heard me talk a long time about the great cell phone service I get from Pure Talk, my cell phone company, versus the cost of Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. You hear just $20 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, plenty of data, and you're thinking, all right, what is the catch? There's no way Pure Talk can offer the same cell service that cheap. Well, I say just ask thousands of my fellow listeners who have made the switch like me. They are loving that they're on America's most dependable 5G network, the same cell towers, same 5G network, and you pay, on average, less than $1,000 a year per family. Anyway, what are you waiting for? It's time to start supporting companies that share your values, like creating American jobs and supporting our veterans. It's time to make the switch today with no contract, 30-day money-back guarantee. You have nothing to lose. Dial pound 250, use the keyword save now. You'll save 50% off your first month. Pound 250, keyword save now, and start saving now on your cell phone plan.
What if I told you you can save a baby's life for just $28? Well, it's true. Preborn is a ministry doing just that with the help of people like you by offering free ultrasound sessions to pregnant girls and women who otherwise might choose to end their pregnancy. We know that pregnant girls and women who can see their babies on ultrasound are far more likely to choose life. Your gift today can save babies' lives. Just $28 can give a mother the chance to see the truth of the baby that is growing inside her. $140 can do this for 5 girls and women. Whether you want to save one baby or 5 or hundreds, that opportunity is just a click or phone call away. Call 833-850-BABY. That's 833-850-2229. Or go online to 560theanswer.com/preborn.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Scott Bartmus, co-founder of ESCO, a security and fire alarm services business, and a customer of Signature Bank. We work hard to give our customers peace of mind, so it's nice to know that while we have our customers' backs, partners like Signature Bank have ours. When COVID hit, there was a lot of uncertainty for many businesses, particularly surrounding the PPP loan program, with parameters and deadlines changing constantly. The executives from Signature Bank worked weekends alongside their staff, filling out and submitting applications to ensure they took care of us. That type of dedication is hard to find, but we found it with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Suburban Welding and Steel is your local welding, fabricating, and repair shop where service and quality is number one. Their dedicated team of experts can repair a job on site or in their shop located in Franklin Park. They have the machinery needed to get your project completed with the craftsmanship and precision so you can get back to business. Suburban Welding and Steel Services, more than just the manufacturing industry, they also service the food industry, heavy equipment, trucking, airports, and railroads. Walk-ins are also welcome, so if you need it welded, repaired, fabricated, or modified, Suburban Welding and Steel will do the laser cutting, machining, forming, and plate rolling for you, or they have the materials you need in stock and ready for the purchase. And if you know a hardworking person looking for a career in the trade, Suburban Welding and Steel is looking to add to their team of experts. Visit suburbanweldingandsteel.com to see the full story on what they can do for you. SuburbanWeldingandSteel.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Is the black vote still in play with Kamala Harris as the now Democrat presidential candidate? We'll discuss that and more with Darvio Morrow, CEO of the FCB Radio Network and co-host of the Outlaws Radio Show. Now on to Mike Scott in the newsroom.
It's 8:30 on AM 560. The Answer, and Kamala Harris's presidential campaign is vetting potential running mates. The campaign has requested vetting materials from several potential running mates like Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, Governor Roy Cooper of North Carolina, and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, but not, according to Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, him.
Look, I love being the governor of the state of Illinois, and I've been out on the campaign trail fighting hard for Democrats. I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm very interested in making sure that Kamala Harris becomes the next president of the United States.
Pritzker was asked if he has received those vetting materials, and he said no. President Biden will address the nation tonight from the Oval Office, his first on-camera appearance since he dropped out of the 2024 presidential race. Dozens of Democrat lawmakers, including Chicago's Jan Schakowsky, will not be attending Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress today. New body cam footage related to the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump is being revealed.
This body camera video shows the moments right after gunman Thomas Crooks was killed. We've been told that he was identified as suspicious by local law enforcement before the shooting. But now this body camera video appears to confirm that Crooks was identified as suspicious to at least some Secret Service agents.
This is his bike with the stuff. And our sniper seen him walking away from that, I believe. Okay. But he would be right inside that window.
Ronald Rowe has been named the new acting director of the Secret Service after Kimberly Cheadle faced intense scrutiny for the apparent security lapses during the July 13th rally.
The FBI is continuing to investigate. A West Suburban man accused of threatening to assassinate Republican State Representative Jeff Kiker will remain in jail. Forrest Brandon faces a criminal felony charge for threatening the life of a public official. Some 200 were arrested Tuesday at a pro-Palestinian protest. The arrest came at the Cannon House office building on Capitol Hill. Taiwan has shuttered offices, schools, and tourist sites on that island ahead of a powerful typhoon. A domestic plane has crashed after taking off from the airport serving Nepal's capital. 18 were killed. The Winter Olympics are returning to Salt Lake City in 2034, the IOC making the announcement this morning. A line of thunderstorms left downed trees and power lines in Morton Grove and Glenview, and authorities continue to investigate a shootout involving an off-duty Chicago police officer on the far south side who was carjacked.
I know physically he's okay. I just hope that he's okay. Because this had to be an extremely traumatic experience for both he, his wife, and his children.
Alderman Matt O'Shea of the 19th Ward. Chicago sports. Right now, the Cubs left 10 on base, if we totaled them up right, in a 1-0 loss to the Brewers at Wrigley Field, while the White Sox lost to the Rangers 3-2. The news, a service of Valdecas Windows for the discerning homeowner looking for high-quality and professional-level window replacement. Contact Valdecas Windows, your award-winning Platinum Elite Pella-certified contractor. Visit Valdecas.com. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
News happens fast.
The former president was whisked away after gunshots rang out at his rally north of Pittsburgh.
President Biden wrote in a letter posted on social media. It says it is in the best interest of his party and the country to stand down.
When news breaks.
Best suited to assume the position of Vice President of the United States is Senator J.D. Vance.
It happens here.
I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States.
This is your breaking news and election station. AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, folks, I just can't help thinking of our stress levels. And high blood pressure is the #1 key risk factor for mortality. In fact, 1 in 2 Americans walking around have high blood pressure. That's a ticking time bomb. But thankfully, it's never been easier to take control of your blood pressure. With 120 Life, a truly remarkable natural juice blend that can actually help you lower your blood pressure without the side effects of taking pills every day. 120 Life is formulated with scientifically backed ingredients from superfruits, berries, and minerals that have been shown to naturally help control high blood pressure. And it works. It's endorsed by over 70 health professionals, and I assure you, that's not fake news. I use it myself. I love it. You can try it for yourself risk-free with their 2-week trial. Just go to 120 Life and use the coupon code LIBERTY to save 15% and receive free shipping. If 120 Life doesn't help lower your blood pressure in 2 weeks, they give you your money back. It's guaranteed. Go to 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Go to 120life.com today.
They're Trump's most diehard fans in the front row at every Trump rally.
You had to love the United States of America. You had to support Mr. Donald Trump's re-election.
Trump's Front Row Joes is the new 2-part documentary offering the first inside look at the men and women standing shoulder to shoulder with Trump in the greatest political movement in American history.
The kind of basis for all the rallies, there's like dead fans.
Like-minded people following their hero all around the country, exhausting their bank accounts, camping out for days in the freezing cold and scorching heat to support Trump's re-election and make America great again.
The Front Row Joes are very successful, incredible people.
Trump's Front Row Joes, from executive producer Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary and communications director for President Donald J. Trump.
Friendships I've made over the years as a Front Row Joe, it's probably the best part of it.
Don't miss Trump's Front Row Joes. Watch it now. Go to salemnow.com. salemnow.com.
Amidst the chaos of urgent deadlines and long work days, it can be difficult to make sure you're getting a variety of whole food ingredients. Formulated with the finest natural whole fruit and vegetable ingredients, Balance of Nature fruits and veggies supplements easily fit into your busy schedule. These pocket-sized gems can be packed wherever you need them, making it easy to take them on the go wherever you go. So whether you're dashing out the door for an early morning meeting or navigating a jam-packed workday, remember to bring along your Balance of Nature. Start your journey with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code Mike G.
This hourly segment brought to you by Unleash Your Wealth with Raj Shah and Rick Borick this Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. Learn more at scwealthadvisors.com.
8:38, let's check the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Bank of America with powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A., copyright 2024. Kennedy stop and go inbound Montrose to North Avenue, 73 in to the Circle. The inbound side of the Eisenhower remains shut down. It's blocked off right between the inbound Tri-State and the Reagan I-88 because of an overturned semi. Rolled over on the side. You're diverted off to southbound 294. And right now, there's no date or time given when they're going to reopen the inbound side of the Eisenhower. Stevens and outbound, your stop and go First Avenue to the Tri-State, and delays on the Reagan stop and go eastbound 88 between the Aurora Toll and Winfield. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. A shower this morning, otherwise clouds and sun, high 76. Currently cloudy and 70. Your next news is at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to Chicago's Morning Answer. I'm John Anthony, host of Black and White Radio, heard every Saturdays from 4 to 7 p.m. I hope I've put enough shameless plugs for you people to go and download the podcast and tune into my show on Saturdays. Joining me in studio is Charles Thomas, former ABC 7 reporter. We was just discussing how many steaks Charles used to like to bribe me with to get information from me in Springfield. At the Pinnacle.
It was just the steaks?
Yeah, steaks.
That didn't work. It was the other stuff, the liquid stuff that made it work.
The bourbons. I really appreciate you coming in with me, Charles. Charles, you know, prior to Kamala getting into the race, it was being talked about and reported that Trump may get over 20% of the black vote. When you look at Kamala now jumping in the race, is that number attainable for Donald Trump now?
You know, Kamala, even though it looked great in West Allis, Milwaukee yesterday, she's got a lot of issues. You know, as as a vice president, running with a president who is still active out there, she is going to have to answer for everything Joe Biden does.
Yes.
And then Joe Biden is going to have to explain it to the American people. And I don't think Joe Biden is really capable of doing that. So it's very possible at this point that Kamala could end up having to be the president.
Yeah.
That they'll just have to get rid of this guy, get him out the way, so that they don't confuse the voting public.
Right.
It's going to be a very awkward situation for her. I know it went smoothly yesterday, or so they think, but she's got a tough road to.
It's not over.
A tough road to hoe. As they call it back in the day.
That pun intended?
Man, I didn't do that. Yeah. Folks, I want a disclaimer. I did not do that. I didn't do it.
Ooh, ouch. Joining us to discuss the black vote, Trump and Kamala, is Darvio Morrow. He's the CEO of the FCB Radio Network. Darvio, welcome to the Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, I want to play a comedian for you real quick. I want to get your take on him. I don't know if you heard Cam Patterson's routine, especially after Donald Trump was assassinated. But I really attempted assassinated. Everywhere I go and I talk to especially black men, this is their sentiment, and a lot of people are like, well, that's not who we are. We don't just care about this. But I want you to hear his audio. Then I want to get your take on it. Here's Cam Patterson, comedian.
Y'all see the president. Well, the that's running, Trump. He got shot, dog. They shot him. This done been shot. This done went to jail. He done scammed people. And this my uncle. Who the hell? He's black. He's officially black now, bro. This is beautiful. They shot him. He was like, yeah, I'm having a fine. He was fine. He was doing like this and walked out with an American flag on him. Like this. He put one of these like, I'm a real fuck, nigga, I'm out of here. That's hard, bro. I wasn't even finna vote. I'm voting now, dog. He got it. He won. I wasn't even finna vote. I had no skin in the game. I like, that got shot, he won. The bush. He had real ops. What the Joe Biden's biggest op is the stairs. That's it. He had real ops. Somebody really trying to, listen, that's how you know he a real bro. Joe Biden has been trying to kill himself his whole presidency. So nobody had to kill this. Nobody had to try to kill it. Trump been just ready to go his whole time. And like, we got to off his ass. And missed. And just skipped his ear and missed. That's crazy, bro. Hey, Mexican, you fuck with Trump? Yeah? Hell yeah, that was good. Huh? You say amen? He not God. What the That was crazy.
Dario, I mean, that's the sentiment I don't know about you and what circles you travel in, but the circles I travel in, there's a lot of Democrat men voters. This is their sentiment. What say you?
So, yeah, I mean, I think you hear some of that, but there was some appeal in certain statements of the black community, even before that. We were in a unique situation where you had the current president running against the former president, and people were able to compare kind of apples to apples of, how life was under the former president versus how it is under the current president. But the thing with Kamala being the presumptive Democratic nominee now is that it completely resets the race. And I wrote about this in a Newsweek piece. The Trump team has to take this seriously. I've seen a lot of Republicans kind of blowing it off.
Yeah.
And not really taking her seriously. They better take her seriously. She will be a competitive candidate, and particularly when it comes to the black vote, Trump does have an opportunity to have a historic for a Republican number of the black vote, but they're going to have to go fight for it now. They're going to have to be very serious about locking in that vote. It doesn't matter what it says in the polls. You're going to have to go out there and get those voters.
Do you think that Kamala will have the same effect on the black vote that Barack Obama had in 2008? I know that's a goal for the party, but do you think that can realistically happen at this point?
So I don't think that, I mean, Barack Obama is Barack Obama. He is one of the most talented politicians of our generation. I don't think Kamala is at that level.
Yeah.
They're going to try, though. I mean, they're going to try to duplicate that. There's going to be a full court press on the black vote because, based on some of the polling numbers right now, she can't win with the black vote being, like, I saw a poll the other day that said she was getting 76% of the black vote. She can't win like that.
No.
Like, she has to get at least 90%.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a full court press on the black vote. And, Republicans have to be prepared for that. And, some of the things that I've been seeing, and I've been very critical about some of the approaches that they've been taking in social media, some of the stupid DEI comments about cops and all that kind of stuff, that's not only is that not going to work, that's going to backfire on you.
Yep.
She has a record. She has a record as vice president. She has a record as senator. She has a record as attorney general. All that stuff is fair game, but stay away from the stupid stuff.
Yeah, I'm part of the Black Americans for Trump coalition, and that's some of the stuff that whenever we meet to discuss, that's one of the things I'm definitely going to be bringing up, because you have to attack Kamala on policy. She has some of the same issues that Hillary Clinton did as far as it relates to locking black people up. I mean, you focus in on those type of things, but if you make it personal, I agree with you, Darvio. It backfires, and that will lose Trump the campaign almost immediately, right?
Absolutely. You cannot do that. I mean, when you're in a situation where you're running against a, quote unquote historic candidate that has that historic narrative, you can't be out here saying stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You can't be out here calling her a DEI hire. You can't be out here talking about who she used to date and all that stupid stuff, because not only does that backfire against you because it looks like you're going in the gutter, the voters don't really care about that. The voters still care about the stuff that they've always cared about in this race. Inflation, the economy, jobs, those are the things that they care about. And those are the things that this election is going to definitely have to be about, particularly now that, you're basically in a whole new race with Kamala as the Democratic governor.
I agree with both you guys that the candidate, Donald Trump, absolutely can't go there. But the internet, TikTok, Twitter, all of the new media, they're going to go there.
Yeah,
they're going to be right there. And I don't know what impact that's going to have in the long term. Will that work to her benefit or to her detriment?
So, the thing about it is, because we live in this new media cycle, this new media environment, when conservative influencers in particular, when they go there, it becomes the left will use that as an albatross to put it around Trump's neck.
Yeah.
Right? Because the headline is, Trump supporter such and such says blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so even when they go there, even if Trump himself doesn't go there, when they go there, it still ends up boomeranging back to Trump. So there's going to be times where the Trump team, the Trump campaign, and maybe even Trump himself are going to have to possibly push back publicly on stuff like that, just so the public sees, hey, that ain't me. I didn't do that.
I think just like he pushed back on the Project 2025 and basically called them radicals, something to that nature.
Absolutely, and this is a new environment now, and he's going to have to do that. I mean, I have seen some absolutely ridiculous comments from some of the chattering class on the right.
That's true.
About Kamala, and I'm like, that ain't gonna work, y'all.
How important?
Do that against her.
How important is her VIP pick? Do you believe is to black people? How important? Who she picks? How important is that?
To black people, I don't think it's that important. I think what she's likely to do, what it appears based on what we've been seeing, as far as like some of the names, she's likely to pick someone to try to offset or attempt to offset Trump's white working class base.
Yeah, and J.D. Vance.
Right, exactly. I think with black people in particular, she's at the top of the ticket. So if there's any sort of appeal, they're going to be looking at her. They're not really going to be looking at her VP. And I think Kamala is likely to try to use her VP pick to try to balance the ticket because Kamala has a record of being really, really, really liberal.
Yeah.
So she's looking at folks that don't have as much of a reputation as a liberal to kind of balance the ticket off, at least according to reports.
I think if she picks a Gretchen Whitmer, it's over for her. I mean, there's no chance in what. She picks somebody like that. If she picks even Wes Moore, the black governor from is he from Maryland? Yeah. Maryland. I mean, she picks somebody like that. I just don't think America will stomach that ticket.
Oh no. Did you get two women
or two black people?
Two people of color.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I don't think we're at that point. I think we've come a long way, baby, but we haven't come that far yet.
Well, Dario Morrow, thanks so much for joining us on the Chicago Morning Answer. I really appreciate your insights. I always love hearing when you're on with Dan and Amy, so I wanted to get you on to be while I'm sitting in their stead. So thanks so much for joining the Chicago Morning Answer.
Thank you both, man. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Podcast of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Building owners, property managers, and chief engineers. This one's for you.
Hello, this is Bruce Diedrich with Waukegan Roofing, your professional roofer. Everything starts on top. Your investment, your building, and everything in it is protected by your roof. It needs to be in good shape. That's where we can help. If it needs to be repaired or replaced, or you think it might, call us. Let's find out. Here's the number.
847-623-1625.
At Waukegan Roofing, our employees are union-trained roofing professionals with OSHA safety training certifications and have thorough knowledge and expertise regarding the various roofing systems we sell, maintain, and install. We know commercial roofing systems because that's all we do. Over 110 years of doing commercial roofs. Waukegan Roofing has the slogan,
roofs you can rely on.
Because you can. Here's the number to call.
847-623-1625.
And get the info at waukeganroofing.com. waukeganroofing.com.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call now at 800-533-6605 for a free consultation. For 17 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Christian-owned company. Don't get stuck in the endless cycle of payments. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605.
When you're in chronic pain, you're miserable to be around, and so are the people who have to watch you suffer. So stop it. Do something about it. Now's the time to be proactive and take care of yourself. And there's another solution other than surgery or drugs. Call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics, they have a cutting-edge treatment that revitalizes your joints with your body's own healing process. So if you have arthritis or if you're in pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, back due to an injury, you need to call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation and get your life and mobility back. You know, I've been to one of their clinics. I met a few of their customers. They were smiling from ear to ear, so happy to have their mobility back, pain-free, without surgery. They have locations all across the Chicagoland area, including new locations in Crystal Lake and Gurnee. Call for a free consultation, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955, 312-809-5955.
One of the most important decisions you can make as a parent is where you send your kids to school. But these days, It's never been harder to know which school is best. Public schools have changed a lot, and you might be thinking about sending your child to a private Christian school. But you also know that private school can be expensive, and in this economy, you might think it's not an option. Well, think again. With halfpriceschools.com, you can purchase tuition vouchers for half the price of normal tuition for private schools. For nearly 10 years, halfpriceschools.com has helped families from all over Chicagoland make the dream of private school a reality. And that can be the reality for you and your child too. Just go to halfpriceschools.com, search for a private Christian school near you, and purchase a voucher. It's that easy. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
This is Ed Morrissey of HotAir.com for Town Hall. Just how long have Democrats known of Joe Biden's cognitive infirmity? A presidential debate last month finally and completely exposed the cover-up, both by leading Democrats as well as the mainstream media. Until then, both groups accused critics questioning Biden's fitness for office of using cheap fakes. The Wall Street Journal has now published an expose that provides the start date for the cover-up, October of 2021, almost 3 full years ago. A disastrous engagement with House Democrats on the infrastructure bill uncovered Biden's cognitive decline to Nancy Pelosi, so much so that she never had Biden engage with the House Democrat caucus again on legislation. Every participant in that process saw the issue. Vice President Kamala Harris was part of it, and thus part of the problem. It would take willful blindness not to see what was clear for all to see. Biden was failing. Will she ever be held accountable for it? Not while elite media hides its own complicity in the cover-up. I'm Ed Morrissey.
AM 560, The Answer.
We got about a minute left. We'll sneak Rich from Indian Head Park in. Rich, hurry up, give your comment.
Oh, yeah, what I just wanted to say, hi, Charles. Hi, John. How you guys doing this morning?
Good.
What else is she going to run on other than abortion and on abortion and attacking Trump? She has no policies that she's going to tell the American people about that's going to change the way the American people think about her, and that she's going to say that's going to make their lives better.
It's all about fear.
Thanks, Rich.
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear.
Yeah.
That's what they
False
run on.
evidence appearing real. That's what fear is. False evidence appearing real. It's not real. Most fear is conjured in your mind. You create it. Most fear comes from the mind, Charles.
And that's what they want to do. They want to make everybody fear. They use race. They use gender. This is what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Race and gender. They said about women voters, black voters. If they can get them out, then they feel they have a pathway to victory.
I think we have a clear choice. If we want tyranny, vote for Kamala and whoever she picks. If we want to remember, if we want to go back to when we understood freedom and liberty, I believe Donald Trump is the pick, and J.D. Vance. We want to pick them to run because there's a clear choice. If we continue 4 more years of the Biden administration policies, America is going to be crippled. That's my opinion. That's what I believe. That's why I've stood so strong with Donald Trump. Charles, thanks so much for joining me today.
Hey, man, I've had a great time.
Producer extraordinaire Quinn McCarthy, thanks so much for making this easy. Technical producer Justin Kosick. Guys, you made it so wonderful and easy for me. I want to thank the station for putting their trust in me. It is now 9 o'clock. On to Mike Scott in the newsroom.
It's the FBI.